Ah, my good and dear friends. This is Londo Molare, and I'm watching the Bad News Bards on Tennessee Tabletop Tavern.
Well, hello, Cam.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, you look a little different today.
I'm working on having technical problems, technical difficulties here.
Yeah. We all love Windows. It's the bestest OS ever, especially 11.
Garbage.
Oh my God. Any rate, speaking of IT things, we have a guy waiting in the wings who he himself is also was also an IT guy. He's written a little program. He's got a gaming convention, online gaming convention coming up, and all kinds of stuff. So it sounds kind of interesting. I've been following him for years. He's kind of been an inspiration of mine for a while, and somehow I don't know how we've never crossed paths because I grew up in the same general vicinity and worked in the same industry, um, and hung out at a lot of the same places that he did. And somehow we've just never met. So, but any rate, uh, that's uh, that's gonna be fun. Plus, we know Watsy dropped some news last weekend, so that might come up too. But without further ado, let me go ahead and bring the dungeon delver on himself, and Bill is coming in hot.
Hello, everyone. How are you out there? It's good to see you all, and it's good to be seen by all of you. What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Trying to. I'm done with winter. That's the one downside to living up here. Um, yeah, we were 80 degrees, and then we went back down in the 30s, and now we even had we had snow a couple of times, but hopefully we're done and over with that stuff. Snow is a four-letter word, so
Yeah, I'm not. I can't do cold weather myself, man. I can't. I'm down here in the Sunshine State, and like we had a brutal Florida winter. There were like almost 3 weeks running of temps where it didn't get over uh like the warmest of days was like 50, 51,
yeah.
but it was averaging in the mid 40s, and that was freaking miserable, dude. I hated every second
Oh
of
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Every second.
I remember, like, okay, you remember 1986 when that fateful January day. I was in middle school.
Yeah. High
Down.
school myself.
Okay, I was in Kissimmee. And um, yeah, it was cold that morning. I mean, and I remember it was in the 20s, I think.
It was 22 degrees
Yeah.
on 39A, and
Yeah.
that's like pretty unpleasant to discuss.
Yeah. But that kind of cold weather, you feel it in Florida, man. When you get in the 40s, people laugh that haven't lived there or don't, and it's brutal because the high humidity anyways, and the cold, and damp cold is the worst.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
any rate, Cam,
Yes.
how are you doing this evening?
I was doing pretty good until I had to deal with my computer. So
Yeah, you made us 6 minutes late.
yeah, I know. I
Usually it's my fault.
totally my fault. Totally my fault.
That's all right. That's all right. Well,
But
hopefully
we have this very valuable guest here, so I don't want to waste any more time.
all right. So, without further ado, Cam likes to always start off asking a question, and I'm sure, Bill, that you're gonna have you're gonna love this question because it's gonna take you back. So,
All right.
Cam,
Hit me.
Okay, I like to ask all of our guests about their origin story. I told my origin story once, and maybe it was fun, maybe it wasn't, but I like to hear how everyone got into role playing because everyone's got a different story, and I always find them interesting. So, how did you get into role playing?
How did I get into role playing? So in 1974, when OD&D came out, I snuck out of my parents' house in Atlanta and walked across town to a hobby shop, which I then robbed with a high power rifle and took a grain OD&D set, which I still have right here because
you were in your diapers at the time.
Yes, at the tender age of 4, I was prescient enough to know that it would be worth tens of thousands of dollars, so I kept it. No, in 81, actually, when we moved to Florida, I remember distinctly some kids at the school lunch. I was like, I have been this tall and this heavy since about 10 years old. So I was this awkward, weird hillbilly kid from Alabama with a funny accent. I was kind of slow on the uptake, and I said, this still to this day makes me laugh because it was really only when the beautiful people started showing up in the late 20 teens that D&D was not literally a reason to ridicule and humiliate people. But when I was a kid, it was like, all the cool kids are playing this game. What was funny was they, like, in attitude, in mien, they were so much like Elliot's group of friends in E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and like almost all of them were children of divorce and stuff like that. I found out, I sort of sussed out later in life because they would talk about their computers, their Ataris, their Colecos. I'm going to Enterprise 1701 and I'm going to buy so much D&D stuff this weekend and so on. And it was basically their parents desperately trying to buy their love. But no, they were passing around a book and it looked like a comic book, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And I asked if I could see it. And it was a copy of Secret of the Slaver Stockade. And as I leafed through it, sitting at the lunch table there, I was enraptured because here was a book full of numbers talking about, young hobgoblins who could ring an alarm in the stables if this happened. And the art and the immediacy, not saying, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then that person went here, and that person went there. Talking about things happening in real time. And I was sucked in and I wanted to know more. And so, again, I was the awkward outcast nerd and they didn't want anything to do with me. But I saw this Dungeons and Dragons thing. And so I pestered my folks. We were not well off at the time, but we went to a local toy store there in Pine Hills, which if you cringe at that, Death Angels, that's you need to understand at the time.
I know.
In like 1981, that was a decent place to live. That was a
Yeah.
wonderful suburb. It was like just out of the 1970s, middle America. Awesome. It wasn't the demilitarized zone that it became in the course of like
Crime Hills. Yeah, it wasn't Crime Hills.
Crime
then.
Hills. It wasn't Crime Hills yet.
Ooh.
So we went to the toy store. I bought a copy. Well, I looked around. There's this huge hanging wall display of Dungeons and Dragons books, and it's like this set is $15, and this one book is $12.99, and I like, I've got a hard ceiling here, so what to do. So, and the very nice middle-aged lady behind the counter knew nothing about it other than kids came in and bought it. So I saw something caught my eye, and it said introductory module. Okay, for character levels 1 to 3. That's a low number. I don't know what it means, but that introductory and levels 1 to 3, that first through third grade, that kind of tracks. So I was like, well, that, and I guess I need some of the dice, and I got it, and I took it home, and I started leafing through it, and I realized about 20 minutes as I was reading through it, maybe not even that long, it starts saying, under the subject of character advancement, it says, on page such and such of the rule book, and I said, okay, cool. So I leaf through to that page, and that page is talking about Sturges and a Minotaur. And I was like,
you're missing a piece.
You're missing the monsters, huh?
But, and here's the important thing. Here's the super important thing. The way Gary laid out that module, which of course I'm sure you can all guess is Keep on the Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 pages in the middle of that module that, with a little bit of pluck and a little bit of determination, is all you need to run a game of Holmes Basic Dungeons and Dragons. And that was the version that it was geared for. And I remember that because I later got a copy of the Moldvay. That's not my original up there, but the Moldvay Basic set I got at the Sears outlet. I got the basic set at TG&Y. I got the expert set at the Sears outlet, but and that came with a copy Keep on the Borderlands, and I was like, these two don't jive together. Something's very different. But there was just a little bit of something about the verve of the Holmes version, talking about chaotic evil and lawful good and chaotic good and things like that. It was just different enough, and it had in my opinion, I love Bill Willingham's work, but I like the Minotaur in the earlier print of B2 more than the Minotaur in the later print of B2. So I taught myself over the course of the first year or so, that was the only Dungeons and Dragons book I had, was Keep on the Borderlands and a set of those cheese soft polyhedrons that TSR sold in a package for $2.99. But there was enough stuff in that module for, if you were intrepid enough that you could follow okay, well, I need to hit this, I need to do that. This is what stuff costs. Here's a list of spells. Here's a list of saving throws. Didn't quite understand saving throws. Here's a list of thief abilities. Here's cleric spells. Okay, all right, this is what I need. This is what I need to play. And so my first gaming group was my sister and my friend Tommy Miner from up the block. And that is my D&D origin story. I got literally the next book that I got was the AD&D Monster Manual. So, it's like, what the hell is a psionics? Why do these monsters have so much hit points? But then I got a Dungeon Master's Guide. I got more modules. I got a Deities and Demigods, unexpurgated as the way it was at the time. A Monster Manual 2. Like I said, the basic and expert set, and I just kind of mashed it all up into this glorious mess of wonderful D&D play, and that's what I did through middle school into early high school. So that's my origin story.
Very cool. I like that story. But I have one follow-up question, which is what's really important is, when did you get your first copy of Unearthed Arcana? And that's a troll, of course. I'm
No. I think it's a valid question, because I actually not until I got back into AD&D in the late 1990s.
Okay.
It really, I never owned a copy of Unearthed Arcana, but I will say also that I played in a game. It was my sister playing. I was playing. There were a couple of people that my sister went to high school that was playing, and the guy DMing us, I don't remember Mark's last name. But he had brought a copy of the Dragon and let my sister play this brand new class called Cavalier. And so my sister played a Cavalier, but the Dragon magazine Cavalier, not the one that they put in Unearthed Arcana, which I think the only major change, and one of the many things I don't like about Unearthed Arcana, is they put the Paladin under the Cavalier. So it's like Ranger's a subclass of fighter, but now Paladin's a subclass of Cavalier, and I do not like that rule change at all. But so I never had a copy back in the day, but when I finally got my hands on a physical copy, it was in that wonderful time in the early 2000s when you could go into a used bookstore and find an AD&D book or an AD&D module for, the hardback might set you back $15 and the module might set you back 10.
Not 100 or
not
90.
Not 100. Not, you go on eBay and there's an easily covered Dungeon Master's Guide missing the back cover. It looks like it's been run over and left out in the rain, and it's like, rare, out of print, illegal, lawsuit Gygax book, $299.99. No low balls. I know what I got.
Yeah.
Well, interesting you mentioned about the used bookstore, and this is a tiny bit of a tangent of my origin story. Is when I first got it, I started with the 81 Moldvay Basic, and then not knowing anything about the history of the game, I went to a used bookstore, and they had, like, on a bottom shelf, maybe half a shelf of other D&D product, and to me, I was like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff that I had no idea existed, and it was like a treasure trove. It was great.
Yeah, it really is. And I actually I lucked out in a big way when we moved over to this neck of the woods here in Central Florida where we are. I was still in the process of building up a library of first edition AD&D stuff, and there was a used bookstore over here that's long gone, but it was called the Cat's Meow. And interesting lady who ran it, she over the years had gotten to be personal, like correspondence level friends with some amazing fantasy authors. And, like, I remember Anne McCaffrey, and this was not that long ago. I mean, this was probably 2004, 2005 or so. This little tiny mom and pop bookstore, Anne McCaffrey stopped in.
Wow.
It was just excuse me. It was just amazing that she was able to get Anne McCaffrey to stop in. Of course, I mean, by that point, the the bloom was off the rose, if you will, for the Dragon Riders of Pern stuff. I mean, I think at that point she's pretty much just in, young upcoming author writes a Dragon Riders of Pern book, and she gives it the once over, maybe changes a thing to her here, and then it's, Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Fishers of Pern with Jane Smith, which I get. I completely understand. That's how I wanted it to be, and I would have been perfectly happy, satisfied with that on the stuff that I did with Gary had that gotten published. But no, her son basically said, here, take the old D&D stuff and sell it. So I was always able to go up there and mine her books. And once she realized that I was hungry for that stuff, she would just set things back for me because she knew I was coming. And I went up there one day. It was, I want to say it was 2008, 2009, maybe 2010. Not much later than that. I go in there and I go straight back to her D&D shelf, and she's got a true first print Dungeon Master's Guide and a true first print monster manual. And if you're not drilled down into the hyper, the weaponized autism that is classic Dungeons and Dragons collecting, that probably means nothing to you. But these are literally the first ones to come off the printing machine at Random House. And they're sitting there, and I think she had a player's handbook. I may have gotten a player's handbook later, but I definitely picked up those two that day, and I took them up there. And even back then, these are like in the condition that they're in. These are, these are $200, $300 books to a collector. And I said, Linda, do you know what you have here? And she's like, yeah, no, you can. And I had store credit. Like she gave me store credit because I bought in like a huge box of just crap that was choking up my shelves. And so she wanted $5 for each book, but then gave me half the price in store credit. So for $5, I walked out of there with a true first print Dungeon Master's Guide and a true first print monster manual. God, I miss that store.
I wish I would have known about it. I would have gone there too. I mean, I
was assiduous in not telling anyone about it.
Were you? Yeah.
That was my private fishing hole.
Well, the one module you didn't mention is X1. Isle of Dread.
Yes, I did get funny thing when I got so I said I got my expert set at Sears Outlet. So this, if you don't know what an outlet store, I know you guys know what an outlet store is.
Yeah, I remember the Sears Outlet stores.
Yeah. By the way, do you mean to have me like up on the drive-through screen or drive-in screen here, and you guys are like tiny down there, like MST3?
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, because I was like, wait, this is not my show. This is your show. But you had Peter Jurassic on your show.
We did. That was awesome.
I am nobody.
Did you like the intro?
I loved the intro.
Isn't that great? Wasn't he so awesome to do that?
I'm gonna have to show that to Mrs. the Dungeon Delver. She's gonna get a kick out of that. So an outlet store was basically like a secondhand thrift store for a major corporate retailer.
Yeah.
And Sears had outlet stores all over the place. So, somebody gets a set of golf clubs, and the bag is ripped.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I remember a buddy of mine got a projection TV. His dad got like a big projection TV.
The 3-color ones that had the 3 separate.
I don't remember. I don't think it was 3 separate. I think it had the Fresnel lens inside, kind of a plastic window thing. But that was $1,000 RCA television back in the mid 1980s, and he bought it for like like $200 and fixed it with a 19-cent part. It was a floor model that was broken, and they just sent it to that store. So after Christmas, they would have all the toys from all the retail stores. And of course, this is all stuff that has been picked through by kids and so on and et cetera. And the guys at the outlet store don't give a shit, right? They're just like, get this stuff,
Move it out.
It's just to churn. So I'm looking, and there's this wasteland of RPGs. Now, if you go and you get a Sears Wish book from Christmas '82, I think it's chock full of RPG stuff.
Yeah,
it is just stuffed full of RPG stuff. 83 and beyond, nothing.
Oh, because of the panic?
Probably.
Yeah.
So they had their one huge year, and then Sears dumped all this stuff to the outlet stores, and they had basically a small mom and pop comics and game store worth of RPG materials just sitting on the shelf. And again, the people at the store didn't care. So like the James Bond RPG was literally scattered everywhere. Just the pages of books just lying everywhere. But they had a taped closed, not shrink wrapped, taped closed copy of the Mold Bay expert set, which again, that's not the one that I got back 40 years ago. So I bought it and I bring it home, and it was two of everything. There was an extra expert rule book, and to come to what you were saying, an extra copy of Isle of Dread, and I gave those to my then girlfriend.
The reason I bring them up is because the first one you mentioned.
Oh, yes, that is the one. That is the one.
Yeah,
that's the exact one. Where the hell did you get that, Anthony Florentino?
You did meet at one point.
It could be because. Let me see if this will actually focus on that. Can you read where that?
Embiggen yourself, Jeff.
You're gonna have to embiggen yourself.
Oh,
I cannot see that.
Let me see if it'll let me maximize. Okay.
There you go.
Oh.
We had you for a second there.
I know it's slow on the uptake here. Embiggen. All right.
Is that Coliseum?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I bought this, and actually I got this at the Coliseum of Comics in Lakeland.
Oh yeah, I don't know if are they still scattered all over the place? I know there's one in Kissimmee. There used to be one on South OBT, but
that one's gone, and the Colonial Drive Mall is gone, right?
Yeah.
So they had one in there. So they had this little thing, this little quest, where they gave you a card, and then you would go around and get stamps at all the Coliseums. This was before we moved up here, so it probably had to be 2016, maybe. Yeah, something like that. At any rate, it was a number of years ago. And it might have been 2018. At any rate, so we went ahead and did that, and I'm always on the look for stuff like that. I always want to get the old stuff if I can find some of the old stuff for a reasonable price.
That's the kicker, a reasonable price.
Right. I found all three of these at that Lakeland store.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that's why I said, did you mention, you didn't mention this one, but you mentioned these other two first right off the bat. So, and as soon as you were saying that, I was grabbing this off the shelf because these are the only three original modules I have. I have all the Goodman Games reprints, which do have faithful reprints of the original material. In some cases, they'll print multiple versions if there was multiple versions of them, and do the little history. And of course, then they have the 5th edition stuff. And well, I used to play 5e. I was running 5e for the longest time, and things kind of went off the rails with WotC. So,
it did.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you make of this this announcement that they did last weekend? With Luke.
So initially, I was very skeptical. Initially, it smelled like oh shit, our 6E sales, excuse me, 5.5E sales are in the toilet, so we're gonna here's a Gygax.
Yeah, we'll grab a
Come over
Gygax
here.
and apologize to
Here.
him.
Hey, good buddy. All right. Woo. Yeah. So sorry for the things. Okay,
Yeah.
Gygax.
Because I know
Stuff again.
Luke and Heidi, because you're the one who helped get me
I
introduced to Heidi.
know Heidi. I'm not really acquainted with Luke.
But I mean, I've seen Luke has been on your stream, I think, with Heidi and Eric.
Yeah, it was Gygax Day.
Yeah.
Few years ago. Yeah. She invited him on, bless her heart, and she I mean that in the good kind, by the way, bless her heart.
Oh, she's a sweetheart. I love Heidi, man.
I love Heidi.
Awesome.
Heidi is fantastic.
I have something sitting down here that I have yet to do an unboxing video that came from them.
Oh, that's neat. That's
and
neat.
You know what it is, probably, because I just fulfilled it.
I may, but no, Heidi is an absolute sweetheart. But I don't know Luke. So to get back to answering the question, I was initially kind of skeptical because you got to remember Luke stated very prominently on Facebook a couple of years ago, hey, we're getting rid of, when I get my dad's manuscripts, I'm going to redo them and we're going to get rid of things like teleporter traps and spiked pits and things, because that's not fun. People don't have fun like that anymore. And I was like, well, you've lost the plot, my friend. But no, so it made me pretty skeptical. Here's what made me not skeptical. Last Thursday, I had a gentleman on the show. I've talked to this guy a lot. I actually, his company at the time he was working for reached out to me to ask if they could come on and do a spot on my live stream, and I ended up meeting through that because he was the pen and paper developer for one of their games. It's Stephen Radney McFarland. And Stephen is an interesting guy. If you saw him, you'd think, okay, here's a guy in his 30s. Here's like a late millennial, very early Gen Z kind of guy. He's not. Stephen's my age. And this blows my mind. Stephen has worked with people that worked with Gary Gygax. When Stephen was at Wizards of the Coast, there were still people who had started under Gygax TSR and worked all the way through and had gotten hired up by Wizards of the Coast. So Stephen knows where from he speaks when it comes to talking the talk and walking the walk. So we talked a little bit about it, about what's going on, because as it happens, he's working with Luke on Melf's Guide to Greyhawk. And when he started telling me about some of the details, I said, okay, all right, this sounds legit. This sounds legit. And the two things that I want to share that he told me was, if you ask me, this is just as important. One is just as important as the other, but if I had to rate them, I would rate this first and foremost. The furry races are out. Okay. So there's no tieflings, there's no Kenku, there's no tabaxi, there's no dragonborn, there's no blah blah blah. Elf, dwarf, human, half elf, half orc, gnome, halfling.
Okay. I had to ask because of the wife if gnome was going to be in there. Mrs. Death likes likes playing gnomes.
So if they're in the first edition player's handbook, it's good to go.
And I asked the question in the video, and Steven follows me on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I asked the question on the video that I made. Hey, do we even know what timeline they're going to start with? Are they going to go all the way back to the folio and then everything up to the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide? Are they going to start at the end of Greyhawk Wars and move up there? What do we know about this? And so when Stephen responded in the comments on my video, and then he mentioned this on the live stream, he said that they were going back to CY 568. And if you know your Greyhawk, that is basically right where on a calendar, if you're keeping proper time in your Greyhawk campaign, and you start with Village of Hamlet, that is where it begins. So that's where they are going all the way back to source on this. I gotta tell you guys, I've drunk the Kool-Aid on it.
Did you?
This is one of those things that if it's gonna be that pure to the source, I can hold my nose and buy a 5e product and make it into a 1e product, because that's kind of what I do. I'm doing.
I was gonna say, you've done that a few times. I have those modules from
I've done that
from
for
Heidi and
for Yang and Zhao for his upcoming projects. The Empire of the Undying Sun. I'm doing all the conversion work for that. I've done that for Heidi and Eric for Gaxline Games. So I think I can take a few minutes to go through, flip armor classes, make movement rates right, drop all the crap like make an insight check, make a spellcraft check, and just mentally go through there and do that conversion myself. Now something important to remember about this is, and I sound like such a cheerleader. Believe me, I'm not. I've not been paid, and there's no one standing to the side with a gun pointed at me. I promise. But the areas of Greyhawk, the two kingdoms of Greyhawk that this is going to cover, it's like one of the focuses that Luke said was, he said, yeah, 5e is a solid system, but it's too easy. I want to take that. I want to make D&D hard again.
And how do you do that? Spike traps and teleporter traps.
So hopefully Luke has walked back from that thing, and I think he has. I think he said something to that effect. But yeah, I am cautiously optimistic about it. I will at least initially buy a PDF so I can talk to my audience about it, so I can share my thoughts on it with you guys when it hits. But if it sucks, I'm at the cost of a PDF, and I can throw it on a thumb drive and forget about it until I go, oh my gosh, it's on that or I can even just leave it on drive through and never worry about it again.
Yeah.
But I'm cautiously optimistic, and if it's really good, it's got Jeff Easley cover art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got Jeff Easley cover art going. So if it's a cromulent release, then I'll jump on it and maybe the response will be enough that it will gain enough traction that we'll see more than just the Two Kingdoms covered, and more adventures covered, and more Greyhawk stuff coming out. But the one thing I will say is hold on to your cash with both hands. Be skeptical. Absolutely be skeptical. I'm skeptical, but you ever do the reaction rolls in AD&D, like you should be doing? And there's that, what is it like? What is it like? 55% chance prone to negative, but neutral. That's kind of where I am. But that also says there's a 45% chance this could not suck. So I'm gonna watch it very carefully. I'm gonna scrutinize it very closely when it comes out, and if it doesn't pass a smell test, I have a wall of books behind me that I never touch, because I just don't give a flip about them.
Yeah.
And this will join it in a digital sense. And fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah.
We got
that's a good point.
On Jason's channel. Let me read this one real quick. Sure. So, someone please get Jason to stop robo-signing the Starfleet Academy Season 3 petition.
Please stop. Okay, so I'll put in my 2 cents about this whole situation. I am accused perhaps of being a bit of a hardliner on some of these things. There's two. Well, Disney, yes. There's two issues for me. One is some people take the perspective, and I think that's what you basically said, Bill. Is it's you're looking at the product first, right? Is this going to be a good product? And I respect that, and I never want to tell someone you shouldn't enjoy something you enjoy, right? That's what entertainment's supposed to be. And if someone wants to enjoy something and they want to support it, I'm not going to stand in their way. But personally, for me, because it wasn't these companies like Hasbro and Disney, they decided to make it about something beyond the product. They went out of their way to attack customers, and I'm sure you guys all know this, and do that. So in my view, to get me back as a customer, you have to undo the thing you did, at least in a reasonable way. The apology to Luke on behalf, of his family, meaning essentially apologizing because Gary can't apologize to Gary because he's gone. Right. I like that. I think that's a good step, and the AU who did that deserves credit for it. But for me, the things I want to see these idiotic warning labels at least modified on their drive-through stuff. How their pearl clutching idiocy. If they want to put something on there, say this is from a different time and it might not appeal to you today, fine. And I want them to at least remove the support of these hit pieces that they have done just in the anniversary book, from last year or whatever. They're shredding the creator of the game that they're promoting. What's his Peterson, right? Is he the clown that was responsible for that? I think it was John Peterson.
John Peterson.
Yeah.
So no,
I'm sorry if I'm naming the wrong guy there.
No. It's absolutely okay. I agree with you. It's all well and good to come back and apologize a couple of times to Luke. We as gamers, this is a huge caveat about me saying, I'm going to buy. I have an obligation to buy this book. I have an obligation to buy this book to go over it and then turn around and use my platform to say to people, this is a buy, this is a don't buy, here's why, rather than just saying, yeah, I bought it. You know, I feel like if I'm going to serve the old school community in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I have to, and I have to have a look at it. But you know, it's one thing to say, to take Luke aside and say, look, really sorry. Yeah, what was said in that book? That wasn't everybody. But they have had a full court press media attack on classic people who like classic RPGs. There was back in January, and I tell you what, I cannot think of anybody who breathed a deeper sigh of relief than PBS, because January like 2nd or 3rd of 2023, just before Wizard of the Coast accidentally did the entire hobby, PBS dropped a hit piece going after people who prefer older editions of D&D.
Yes.
They did like an entire thing on it, and there were a couple of streamers who wanted to have them on. So they did that. They got dogpiled. They took the post off of social media, changed the title of the piece, but none of the content of it, and then put it back up like they could hide it, and then, you know, kind of get it into a positive social media cycle. And they got caught and they got dogpiled, and they did it 2 more times trying to hide it.
Right.
I, to this day, 3 years on, will not absolutely believe in any way that was a grassroots organic thing where one reporter went to see. You think some guy at PBS went to his bosses and said, yeah, I play Dungeons and Dragons, and there's a group of guys who don't play Dungeons and Dragons the way I like to play Dungeons and Dragons, so I want to spend a few months researching this and do a whole thing on them? You think they underwrote that, or do you think maybe possibly they got a phone call from somewhere in Renton?
Yeah.
And somebody said, hey, you guys want kind of a think piece here? So let me explain this to you, and spent 5 or 6 hours talking about, you know, the OSR and the worst elements of the OSR. Let's call a spade here. All right. There's some people in the OSR I would not invite into my house.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
But holding them up as the entirety of old school D&D.
They're the example of, they're the exception, not the rule.
They're the exception, not the rule. But, you know, you pitch it and spin it in a certain way. And I absolutely think Wizards of the Coast launched something like that. Maybe even if we can get a little Alex Jonesy here, if we can get a little crazy here for a second, maybe even knowing the shitstorm that was coming with what they were about to do to the OGL, to try and say, okay, let's spin these guys as the bad guys. Let's kick up some division in the hobby so they don't go shoulder to shoulder. Because people that, if we cast these guys, if we castigate these people, and we start throwing around terms like racist and Yahtzee and all that sort of thing, they won't team up. It'll be like oil and water. They won't mix together. And then when the other shoe drops with the OGL, they'll side with us. They won't want anything to do with people that like old versions of D&D. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just a little too fucking convenient, pardon my language.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and your skepticism that you said, I think that's the best way to go.
And so you're saying 45-55, like your optimism is at 45%, your pessimism at 50. I think that is an excellent way to put it, or 60
Yeah.
or 40 60, something like that.
Yeah. 45 optimistic, 55 pessimistic. But to conclude my thought, they did us dirty as hobbyists. Now, love Mike Merles, hate Mike Merles, say whatever you want. When they came out in 2014 with the apologies to insulting gamers and the marketing for 4E, for taking away the entirety of legal PDFs and so on, and just basically making pirates out of people that they were accusing of being pirates. When they pulled that, here they come in 2014, 5 years later, 6 years later, whatever it was, with reprints of first edition AD&D, reprints of first edition AD&D classic adventures, that lovely, mine is out of the way right now, that lovely wooden box with OD&D in it, things like that. They basically, Merle's posting up on the blog for the development of 5E saying, what if we put in a method where you could play AD&D with 5E? And we know that none of that bore fruit, but the point remains, they came out swinging with a bouquet of flowers and a box of candies. If they come back with this new approach, then or with that approach, with new products, that's great. Saying you're sorry to Luke Gygax, that's very nice too.
It's good for that. It's a good first step.
It's a good first step, but they pissed on an entire segment of the hobby.
Yeah.
So
I have some friends out there in YouTube land that are saying, well, they don't really have to apologize to us, but I'm of the opinion they kind of do.
Yeah, the redemption has to equal the crime, right? They came after a corporation doesn't have to attack customers. It's not like that was ever a requirement. They chose to do that, and they let their freaks that work there go wild. So you took it to that level. You got to take it back from that level. It's as simple as that for me.
And I there were some people somebody posted if Jason Tondro is still, if his name is involved, they're not going to spend 1 cent with WotC. And I mean, we were did you do the survey by any chance, Bill?
Many times.
Oh, did you? I only did it once.
If their AI has pattern recognition, it probably knows that I did it many times. But yeah, let me just say to be honest, I think I did it like twice, maybe three times. But I know in that, you have 500 words, not 500 characters.
No, it's 200 words.
200 words.
200 words. Yeah, not a character limit.
Not a character limit. So you could potentially just put periods between the words, and put the Lord of the Rings in there.
Yeah.
But because it would just read it as one run-on word.
Yeah.
But
that's a good idea.
But they. I am entirely sure they got the idea from me, and I'm entirely sure that they that I used nearly every word in those 200 words.
I used 199 out of the 200.
Used 199. There you go.
Yeah.
Came down to a nice landing with some taxi space left.
And the things that I were saying is the same things that many other people were saying. There's nothing wrong with straight white guys. There's nothing wrong with, I don't care. We never cared about who somebody wanted to sleep with back in the day.
No.
That was not.
No.
I've played with people of every color, creed, ethnicity, sexual orientation. We didn't care. It was like, oh, you want a game? Cool. Come on over. Let's game, and yet they make it to sound like we did.
Well, people forget. It's like I think Bill mentioned earlier. It's like it wasn't cool to play D&D, right? Back in the day, you couldn't afford to cut anyone out. It was like, hey, I want to do this thing. Someone else does. Great. Let's get together and have fun. And today it's the opposite. It's like, oh,
yeah, there's this weird false history that it's creepy. It's Orwellian to watch in real time. And this isn't really a politics rant so much as a social culture, but to see like oh, you were never you were never ostracized.
Right.
No. You were never ostracized. That everybody loved D&D. It was just like in Stranger Things, you could stand up and loudly proclaim you were D. There were school gangs, just like in Stranger Things, with T-shirts for their D&D club. No, there weren't. It was not a people-friendly, public-facing hobby where it was like, goodbye, kids, have fun playing the Dungeons and Dragons. No, it wasn't. 3 out of 5 moms had some suspicion that we were in a cat murdering cult. And I wish I could. Oh, I think I can get it. This thing came out. This fucking thing came out, and it was I don't know if here, let me do a jump zoom right there. Yes.
Oh, yes. That is what you actually have that book, huh?
I actually have. And can I just say something though? Can I just
sure.
Give the Rona Jaffe was a cutie back then.
Yeah.
I'd have dated her.
Yeah.
She was a good looking lady. Anyway, but the point is I guess around 2016, 2017,
something broke them.
There was just this I mean, maybe even before that, maybe it was around 2010 or so, but they just decided that the beautiful people always played and always loved D&D, and even if it was a bunch of nerds, there was still a beautiful person to guide them. There was always a cool person who wanted to play D&D. The football jock, he went and he played D&D when he didn't have to go practice. The cheerleader, she had she had a first edition Dungeon Master's Guide, and it just that wasn't the case.
It's always fun hearing someone born in 2005 about how you lived your life 30 years before they were born.
Yeah, or no, even Gen Xers. Look, with all respect, Joe Manganiello, dude, where the fuck were you when people like myself, the hosts of this wonderful show, and the people out there in the audience were getting like bullied into compressed singularities of self-doubt and depression? Because I always played D&D. I played D&D when I was bully for you. Bring your supermodel girlfriends and wives in at GaryCon and have your exclusive tables and shit like that.
Ex-wife now.
Excellent. Whatever the case may be.
But I don't dislike him.
No, I don't dislike him either. I dislike the false history that is being created that a guy, what's his name, Zach the Cockroach from Raging Machines or whatever it is. A guy with a guitar that costs more than my house is worth. who also ironically
trying to preaching or towing the line at least.
Yeah, screaming about rising up against the man. Zach, you are the man. Talking
Yeah.
about being a nerd. I don't mind who plays D&D, but don't piss down my neck and tell me it's raining.
Right.
Yeah.
You are not on the level of nerd culture that we were. It was our thing, and it would be one thing if they just showed up and played, but they wear it like it's this year's fashion, So who are you playing tonight? Oh, I'm playing Gygax of Geneva. Oh, that's wonderful. And here comes Vince Vaughn. Vince, who are you playing tonight? Well, I'm going to be playing Lakofka of Wisconsin. Oh, that's great. They wear our hobby like a skin suit, and it's there was someone, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not that kind of person. I was at GaryCon in 2018, and this person, famous in her own, I should have even said her, famous in their own arena, okay? Mm-hmm. And they had a little comet's tail of sycophants and followers and so on. And if they were moving down one of the breezeways, you guys have been to the Grand Geneva? You guys been to GaryCon?
I have not yet.
No. Okay.
No, I'm going to CNYCon in June, which is Roger Ribas's.
If you download the floor plan of the Grand Geneva, it is like 10 feet wide and 3 miles long.
Wasn't that the Playboy Mansion?
It was Playboy Club, Playboy Resort. Resort
for all the Chicago elites that they go to back in the 70s, and
But so if you were going down a breezeway or a hallway or something like that, like if you just kind of peeked out and saw her going, she'd just be schlepping along, and these people like just walking along behind her with her. If there was nobody else there, and I tested this theory, it was like a light switch, and you stepped out in the same hallway, they would immediately start going, okay, well, when I'm over here, let's go ahead and photograph this. And we can't take too long because I have to be at so-and-so's table, very loudly, making sure they were heard talking about all the wonderful things they do and how they were going to nerd out. And they were going to go buy this custom dice from this vendor over here. And as you went around the corner and stopped.
Yeah.
A very rehearsed, just painfully, I don't care if you want to come and play D&D, but stop making it about you. Stop making it about your fame. Stop making it about your, and what it comes down to is it's just another arena for them to establish dominance in. It's like, oh, I'm a C-lister in Hollywood. I might get on a sitcom. I might have like a walk-on role or something like that. But I go to Lake Geneva for a week in the dead of winter, and I'm king hell of all nerds. I get fated,
Mm-hmm.
I get to sit with all the other movie stars and musicians at a table playing a classic Greyhawk novel, and I'll rock up to this vendor, and $5,000 is it sounds like I'm picking on Vince Vaughn and the painting. I'm not. $2,000 for an OCE set is nothing to me. Look on my works, ye mighty in despair, and I hate that. And I'm gonna stop now because it's your show, and I've run my mouth for like a half an hour.
Quick, this reminds me. There was not about gaming, but there was when J.J. Abrams was, great guy, was gonna be supposedly doing a Superman movie one time. It's like, oh, he has a copy of Action Comics #1. I'm like, did you ever read it? It's like, yeah, who cares?
It's probably boarded and framed and graded,
sealed in a Lexan box.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, try actually experiencing it, you schmucks.
I have had those modules out of their packages. I will tell you. I mean, they're obviously X1 was kind of probably the worst shape of them all, but I've had every one of them out to look at it and just go, and like one of them I think even had some grid paper where somebody had drawn some stuff in it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was used and loved, and that's what makes it awesome. You know?
A friend of mine gave me his white box, that he had from someone, and it's got writing in it and stuff, and it's like, I don't care, it's just cool. I like having it because it's a bit of history and everything, and you said like those things, it's I don't give a crap what it's worth, what I mean. But
yeah, because I mean, I've got all the Goodman Games books. I went in on the backer kit for the controversial Bob Bledsoe one, which is like, really? I mean, wasn't it JK's who wrote it? So I don't know. That's but and I plan on using them with other systems. I'm probably not going to ever play 5e again. I'll either use CNC or I'll use an older version of D&D, maybe 2nd edition. I know Chris Moneymaker in the chat. Shout out to him because he's doing he loves Dark Sun, and so he uses, and I know it's not your favorite system, but 2nd edition AD&D rules for it. That's the first time I played 2nd edition AD&D. I played D&D back in the day, probably AD&D, 85, 85, 86, I think is when I got introduced to it. But in the 90s, I was playing Shadowrun. That's what all my buddies were playing. I was like, hey, I either want to play Cyberpunk or D&D, and they're like, how about Shadowrun? And
blend the strengths.
Yeah.
I was a hero system guy, but the problem was when high school ended, I wanted to go back to playing D&D because there was a slump from beginning of high school to the end of high school where I didn't TTRPG at all.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got back into it in 89, I wanted to play D&D again. I had missed.
When did you graduate?
I graduated in 88.
Okay, so you graduated the same year my wife did.
Oh, there we go.
She went to Dr. Phillips.
Okay, I was across the town. Like I said, I was in Crime Hills.
Yeah.
By 88, 89, it was rough. But
she went to Oak Ridge first. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So they call it Joke Ridge. Yeah. So yeah, she was literally the first year as a senior. At Dr. Phillips.
But yeah, so I wanted to get into D&D. I knew nothing about the background of TSR, about edition changes or anything at that point. I know that when I picked up, I remember going into a friend's comic shop and picking up the Monstrous Compendium and leafing through it and being like, this looks nothing like the D&D that I played just a few years ago. But the thing was, the gaming group that I eventually got into gaming with, they were all born in 66, 67.
Yeah.
So they had just gotten out of college and had played D&D nonstop
throughout college.
They were sick of Dungeons and Dragons. They did not want to play D&D anymore. They were heartily sick and tired of D&D. They wanted to play Hero System. So consequently, if I wanted to TTRPG, I had to play Hero System. So it was Hero System, BattleTech. I bought Cyberpunk, but nobody really wanted to play it.
I was like, I had Cyberpunk 2020, man. You know, I was like, I love that.
I had that set. I had that box set for a little while.
Did you?
Yeah, I had the 2013 box set. But yeah, it was by and large, it was Hero System. I played a lot of Hero System.
Did you get sick of it
over the years? I got sick of it. Then I kind of fell back in love with it. Then I got sick of it again. Then I fell back in love with it. And by the time the mid late 90s rolled around, I was digging around and I had bought I had asked on Usenet. If anyone knew where I could buy TTRPG books, and someone said, well, there's an RPG for sale news group, and there's a guy over there named Paul Stormberg who runs the Treasures Trove auctions. So Paul was my gateway back into AD&D, and I bought the most clapped out, used up, falling apartest books and modules from him. But one of the funny thing is, I on that same news group, because you could do trades too. I said, now understand, kids, this is 1998. All right, so if you're about to keel over from a heart attack, but I said, I'm really looking for a copy of Deities and Demigods that has the Elric and Cthulhu parts in it still. Right. And somebody said, what are you taking trade? And I said, well, here's my RPG stuff. And they said, how about $20 and that Cyberpunk 2020 rule book?
Wow.
I dropped a $20 bill in the front of the book and put it in an envelope and sent it to the guy. And like 2 weeks later, I got my first of, at that point, 14 unexpurgated Deities and Demigods that I have collected over the years.
Nice.
I sold most of them off, but yeah. So it was a freewheeling day back then, kids, when you could just get first edition AD&D stuff for next to nothing. It was a glorious time because Gen X was growing up, moving out, and Mom and Dad were calling saying, what do you want us to do with a Foot Locker in the basement, Ben? And like, I don't, fuck, Mom, sell it. I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So Cam wants to talk more about 1E.
We have the Yoda of first edition.
We do
here. So
educate you. I will kill your characters. I must.
Well, I've enjoyed your channel. A while back I was a regular viewer. When you used to live stream during the day, as I recall, going over first edition stuff.
I way back when I started, when COVID hit, the daytime was my live stream time, but I gradually moved it back. The earliest I'll live stream these days, not counting Nerd Council of Doom, which is not really my channel, but is Mondays at 6:30, right in that slot.
Okay. But I recommend everybody go back and watch that run, because
early stuff.
Because
it's horrible. Don't do that.
No. Well, whether it's
bad lighting and all
you like or anything, the content of it is fantastic. I played first edition D&D a little bit back in the day, but you're going through it page by page essentially was very enlightening, because I think it's fair to say that it's rather arcane, by today's standards, understanding.
It's less than you might think. I think a lot of people get thrown by the density of text, and I would remind you that there are people that I follow and follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, who are Japanese. I don't mean American expats that live in Japan. I don't mean Japanese people that now live in the United States. Japanese natives, Gen Xers who play, and younger, who play first edition AD&D and have translated it. So if they can get it, you can too.
I wouldn't doubt if
I'm plugging your channel, Bill. Come on, just take the compliment.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt if the new prime minister, if she played,
yeah, she's based.
She's pretty awesome, man.
But anyway, no, I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. Well, okay. So let me start with one question. Is there one? You mentioned about it's not as bad or as dense or as inscrutable as some people might think. So what are maybe 1 to 3 things that you think are misconceptions about first edition D&D, that people just don't realize. It's like, yeah, it's this, it had this, or people think it was something different. What anything in that arena.
That it is 3d6 down the line. It's not.
You're-
There are 4 methods for creating characters in first edition AD&D. 3d6 down the line is not one of the 4 methods of creating characters in AD&D. It's not. And I this always makes me laugh when people are like, "Oh, Bill, I'd love to play in your D&D games. They sound like so much fun when you describe them, but I can't go back to Thaco, brother. We don't use Thaco in first edition AD&D. We have charts.
That's right. You have a beautiful first edition DM screen there.
I asked you that about that once, and you were like, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't have to do any math. You just
look at the chart.
Just look at the chart. Because the math doesn't take into account what the 20s, right?
Look at the chart. The math does not take into account repeating 20s, and it can't. The formula will simply fall apart. Yeah. And then that makes certain things unhittable. But no Thaco, no 3d6 down the line. And I would guess that the third thing would be the third I would say is probably that it does not reward good role play, that there's no mechanism in the game for playing your character well or having a good character moment. There is a built-in system. There is an entire clockwork mechanism in first edition AD&D for rewarding good role play. It is page 85 or 86. Somebody with a Dungeon Master's Guide handy, if you want to check me out, that's fine. But Gary flatly says, judge how a character is playing, award them a grade them on that. If they played badly, you penalize them by telling them, okay, well, it's going to take you this many days, or heaven help you, this many weeks to train. And because of that, it's going to cost you more gold, and your character is going to be out of the loop that much longer to do this, or your character may get saddled with a geas or a quest to go out and do something for the person that would be when you would rather be doing something else, but hey, I wanted to level up, so I did this. And the way to not get penalized is to role play really, really well, and there's a mechanism for doing that. So those are the 3 big ones. That it's 3d6 down the line. We use Thaco, and the game isn't really a role-playing game. It's just a war game on steroids. So those are the 3 misconceptions.
Well, that I like that you mentioned the Thaco thing because it seems to be the rallying cry of the old school, I'm putting that in quotes, gamer, which I'm not trying to poop on any of those guys who like the Thaco and everything, but to me that screams second edition, right?
Yeah. Thaco. And if somebody said, hey, Bill, I would really love to game with you, but it is a 2e game, and okay, all right, yeah, I'll come in, and I would use Thaco. Or a basic game, I will use Thaco. It's simply not a function of first edition, and I don't like it when people point at one notional thing in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Gary used Thaco. It's right here. It is literally an anchoring footnote so you know where to start on the chart.
Right.
And for monsters only. It has nothing to do with characters. It has nothing to do with a combat system. It's literally a guidon so you can zero in on that point of the chart and then start doing that, then start using the chart like you should. So I don't like Thaco in first edition AD&D because it's not a part of first edition AD&D. Just like if you sat down and said, okay, Bill, we're going to play 2E, I wouldn't insist that we use a chart. Don't you have a chart? Let's not use Thaco. Let's just use a chart.
Yeah.
Same thing, same weight, same difference. It's not part of those rules. I mean, there's very, as my sometime co-host over, well, no, he is my co-host, not sometime co-host, Kyle over on the Delver's Dungeon says, oh, it's very Thespy. It's very there's stuff in the Free League Tales from the Loop, and we've been playing Blade Runner on Friday nights. Those rules have very Thespy elements in them. I would never want those in AD&D, but am I fine with them in those games? Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I saw that game and I thought of you today. I'm like, I remember Bill was running that now.
Yeah.
I saw it today at Sci-Fi City.
That you guys still have a Sci-Fi City up there?
We have a Sci-Fi City in Knoxville. Yes, sir. I was up there today.
How big is it?
It's pretty decent size. It's not as big as where they originally were. There on Colonial before they moved to the small standalone building. But it's at least as big as that standalone building.
That's
and
nice.
It's a lot nicer too. And they actually, I mean, there was one in Cincinnati apparently, and then the one in Orlando, which of course was what Enterprise 1701 became.
Yeah.
And once the Navy base shut down, that kind of killed that whole area.
Yeah. It did.
My wife actually lived on base at one point in time because she was a Navy brat. Her dad was career Navy. So
interesting. I'm just sad that they tore the Blue Jacket down. I wish they'd let that as like a park play place or monument or something. But
yeah.
For those of you who were wondering, there were actually completely landlocked and built that way U.S. Navy vessels. And one of them in Orlando was the USS Blue Jacket, and it was a training facility ship simulator built on land. It was like the size of a small small Navy vessel, and it was like, it blew my mind the first time we ever drove by it. I was, what is that? And my uncle was like, that's the USS Blue Jacket. That's an actual U.S. Navy ship.
Can't go anywhere.
Can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a buddy that I went to high school with who went to nuke school there. Well, I should say he failed out of nuke school there.
Which sounds horrible, but I mean,
that's pretty much what that's what they try to do.
It's nuclear physics. So
yeah, but
it's not an easy vocation.
No, when he was going through, they have to do the what do they call it, where they're just kind of waiting, treading water or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they just happened to be resurfacing the pool that they did that in, so they had to pretend to tread water because they were redoing the loo site on the pool. It's like, really? And they couldn't stop training, because that's
yeah.
But at any rate, that was so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Cam.
So fair or not, I think many people would think that it's too hard to get into playing first edition. What would you say would grease the wheels to give people encouragement to give it a try? Because I'm assuming you want this, right? You would love more people to play, gamers to play, meaning people that actually like role playing, not bunch of people following a fad. To
be honest, assuming you're not leading me into a sales pitch, but to be completely honest with you, I think ease of availability, or ease of accessibility rather. Wizards of the Coast has almost got it. There should be a method whereby all of first edition AD&D and second edition AD&D and third edition 3.5, whatever, all the basics, and yeah, even 40 and all that. I don't understand why Drive Through RPG, like, you go on there and you can't get a hard copy of the World of Greyhawk box set. Like, the box, I get it. It's okay, yeah, you know, we're not gonna.
That's extra cost, yeah.
You know, but it's like, for the longest time, the World of Greyhawk boxed set was available as a print-on-demand PDF, and the back pages of the book came with the map on, you know, like an 8.5 by 11 section of the map on every page. So it's like, you know, you flip over to go to the next section of map, and so on and so on and so on and so on. It's accessibility. It's you know, the idea of, like, you know, oh, we don't talk about that one. I guess you can buy it if you want. But as far as, and I think if more people knew about it, it would be less mysterious. And they go, oh, okay, all right, this is the old version, but it's cool. You know, it's what they were playing on Stranger Things. You know, this is what my weird uncle used to play in D&D. But you know, I can get this now, and I can play. Thank God the core books, that they redid the core books back in 2013 to 2014, because that means, you know, that they will, until Wizards of the Coast just says no more, we're not doing this anymore, those will perpetually be available print on demand. But as far, like, on a one-to-one level, once you get the books in somebody's hands, I think is probably more what you're asking. I would say the one thing that you could do is just tell them, look, this is not some horrible death trap game where I'm going to punish you for trying to have fun. You know, one of the most just mind-numbingly stupid polemics I ever read back in it's 2012, 2013, was some indie author that just went on this rabid, like, frothing at the mouth tantrum about people daring to have fun playing old D&D games. You're not here to have fun. Fun is what's wrecking this. I'm like, oh, shut your face.
Yeah.
Shut your fat face. It's just, you know, it's not supposed to be boot camp. Okay. And now if you want to drill down to even more specifics and talk about what mechanics could you do that seem daunting to people, it's tell them that those daunting mechanics don't actually exist. A character sheet in front of you, if you're playing 5e, everything that you need to do is on the sheet of paper. I want to walk across the room and talk to the king. So I guess I need, all right, a speech check. Where's my speech check at?
Yeah.
AD&D is, I want to walk across the room and talk to the king.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the sheet.
That's exactly. Yeah. I hate play. I would do that with 5e too. I'm like, you're not playing from your character sheet. Tell me what you want to do. Get your head up. Stop staring at your sheet, trying to figure out what you're going to do. Look at me and say, what would you like? What do you want to do?
When I play AD&D as an event game at local shops and stuff, nobody has ever left my table without some variant of the following on their lips. Wow, that was so cool. I could do anything. Like, I didn't have to keep looking at my sheet. I could just say I wanted to do a thing and do it. If you can drive that home to people, you've crossed that one hurdle that makes people think D&D is too hard. If you want to simplify it even further, Jenny, you're a fighter. Here's a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, and an 8-sided die. I'll tell you when to roll them.
Sure. You know what? See, I don't think people have that problem when you ask them about playing, a clone of basic D&D. You know what I'm saying? Which is a lot of the OSR stuff, or, there's a whole bunch of basic D&D types of games, and people don't have the stigma, or there is the stigma attached to them. even though it's the same as you just said, it's not playing the character sheet. You're just saying, hey, I'm going to do this. There is no real fundamental difference between them. But I think if you were to say, hey, do you want to play Old School Essentials or do you want to play Osric? They would have a different reaction, or obviously BX or AD.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think even Shadowrun tried to capture that with the D20 system. I think that's the character sheets for Shadow or for Shadow Dark. Did I say Shadowrun? Shadow Dark.
Shadowrun.
Yeah, sorry, Shadow Dark. I think that's what Kelsey was going for, and I think she was successful at that. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people are clamoring for. Is let's make it simple, fast. Although you have some way to speed up that process, don't you?
I do have some way to It's funny you should mention that. What a completely random thing for you to say.
I know.
For this to happen. Yeah. So one of the things is a lot of my well-meaning fellow DMs and players are like, oh man, it's so easy to create an AD&D character. It's easy to roll AD&D character stats is what it is. And you don't have to do a skill buy after. That's the easiest part of making an AD&D character. There's actually a lot of intricate moving pieces. And when I sat down and I thought about what this actually spawned from me sitting down and saying, how do you write a piece of code where because one of the first things I ever learned to do with a computer was make it do strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. Because I learned the int rand function in BASIC. X equals integer, open bracket, random, open bracket, number that you want, close bracket, times 1, close bracket, plus 1, and then print X, and it would roll whatever die you gave it. But I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to make my poor little Vic 20 hold a value and then say, well, if there's a better value, just get rid of that value and keep this value instead. So one night a few years ago, I was like, how do you do that? And then I started digging around and I'm like, well, what would what language? And people were talking about this, like this language called Python, and a friend of mine who's a programmer at I think he's Amazon at the time.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was Google. I don't remember, but he said, oh, have you tried Python? It's really easy. Lie. So I sat down and I started going to Stack Exchange and asking ChatGPT and Grok, like, okay, how do you do this? How do you do that? And teaching myself just enough Python to be dangerous. And it just kind of snowballed. And I realized, hey, I can write a program that mimics the functions of, there it is. I can actually share up the live screen if you guys want me to.
Yeah, if you want to, just tell me you do, and I'll hide this one.
All right, I think I've got it up there now. There we go. Okay, so I said, okay, but if I'm gonna do this, I already have the Dungeon Master's Assistant Volume 2 Characters and Treasures. I can already make a character, but what about keeping track of a character? Because I've been running a Monday night first edition AD&D game now for 14 years, I think.
Wow.
13 years, something like that. And so many times you're like, I don't remember how many XP I've got. I don't know, Bill. The last time I have something going was June of this past year. June was the last time I put down XP, and that kind of drove me up the wall. So I made this initially for that, and I said, well, wait a minute, maybe other people would like a crack at this too. So I started refining it, and I started taking it from this is something only I know how to use, and I can deal with the fact that it crashes if you do X. And I started wrenching on it, and I got about 90% of it done in a few months, and the last 10% took me a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so I created CROM, the Character Record Organization Manager. I gave it that acronym, and just in a fit of humorous pique. And what CROM does is it can create a character, and it's like I tell people, if all you want to do is generate first edition AD&D characters, there's a free one on Dragon's Foot. You can go to Dragon's Foot and use that one.
Right.
Or you can scrape up through Abandonware a copy of the Dungeon Master's Assistant Volume 2 and monkey around with DOSBox to get it running.
Yeah.
And do that. Here's the thing. Here's where we depart, and I kick in the NOS and I leave that in the dust. CROM creates the character with you. It equips the character to your taste. Then it does every function that you could need to perform with a character. You can add little chunks of XP. You can milestone level your character. You can drain levels. If you get a tome or a librum or a blessing or a curse or a cursed item that changes your stats down or up, you can change your stats down or up. If you've got the unlucky paladin who falls to neutrality or to chaos, you can change the character's alignment. And guess what? You do lose a level. You do lose your special powers, so on and etc. If you've got a GM who's just crazy enough to use psionics, CROM, when you're creating a character, will check for psionics.
Hey, Chris, you hearing this? Chris Moneymaker.
If you've got a GM who's crazy enough to want bards in his game, if you have a character who has the stats, who's a human or a half elf, you can level them up through fighter, change over at the appropriate point to thief, level them up through thief, and then change over to bard, and then track bards. When you create an illusionist or a magic user, it will automatically generate their starting spell book. If you create a high-level magic user, it will populate a spell book for either one of those classes. You can buy extra equipment. When you level, you can add weapons proficiencies if it's appropriate. You can sell gems and jewelry, and if you look in the player's handbook, it says usually at 20% off of what the value is. It will do that for you. You can save your character as text, you can print them as text, or you can save it as HTML. If you're a dungeon master and you need an NPC of specific mean really quick, and all their equipment, you just like, right now I need a half elf fighter magic user, and I don't even want to take the 5 minutes it would take me to manually do it in CROM. Guess what? You can do guided auto create, and I'll demonstrate as much of this as you guys want to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
You can do guided auto create and create one in about 10 seconds. Or if you're just like, I just want a random character, I don't care what they are, just to throw at the party, you can hit random auto create, and bam, you can randomly create a bard if you want a bard. It does all of those things. So what do you guys want to see first?
Cam, I'll let you run with it.
Okay. First, I have a quick question. What if half elves can't normally dual class, right?
That is correct.
Okay. What if you get somebody who's frisky and they say, "Oh no, I want to be a bard," and then they never they just go fighter into thief, and then they stop.
That is up to the dungeon master to resolve.
All right.
That's
I
up
just
to
want the cheeky bastard. I want to know what happens to him.
Okay, so one thing it will do is if you pull that stunt after you level past the threshold to be a bard, CROM will cut off bard as an option. You cannot go past 8th level thief as a human or as a half elf and still turn around and say, oh, you know what, I'm 12th level thief, now I'm going to go back and become a bard. No, you are forever locked out of being a bard at that point.
Okay, let's try a multi-class character.
All right. Do you want to do the full Monty create? I kind of do, because I want people to see that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's create a new character. So here we go. Now, interestingly enough, one thing that my go-to for 40 years was 4-6, and yes, this supports all the methods. And look, if you're addicted to 3-6 down the line, play it as it lands. Manual entry. You can roll the dice yourself and manually put them in. But otherwise, it's the 4 methods outlined in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, for the longest time, I used method 1 because it's the easiest. Drop 4 dice, pick up the lowest. Drop 4 dice, pick up the lowest. On and on, then arrange them to taste. What generates the best characters is method 3. 3-6, 6 times for each stat. Keep the highest. It is very much Kenny, but it gives us the best characters. So
all right, let's do that. I'm gonna consider a paladin or a ranger,
and it's quickest. Okay, so let's do 3. And here we go. So we have strength 12, intelligence 15, wisdom 14, dexterity 14, constitution 17, charisma 13. And you said you were talking about let's do a multi-class character.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yes, so we got to play a demi-human here.
Exactly. I have a sneaking feeling we can do something. If you choose half elf, there's something very neat we could do.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's do half elf. It pauses to list advantages and then asks if you're sure. So let's go ahead and say yes, because all right. Gender, male or female? Do you have a preference?
Let's go male.
All right. Now look at all the options you've got. You can do cleric, fighter, magic user, thief, assassin, cleric, fighter. I thought this would give the option for. I thought we had the stats to make cleric ranger, which is why I was pushing for half elf, because they can do that. Cleric ranger is actually pretty awesome, even though you get capped. But pick your poison.
Let's go magic user thief.
Magic user thief. So that's 11. And what level magic user?
Let's go with 5, because I want to see.
All right. So let's do 5. And so for a thief, if you're a 5th level magic user, now this is entirely between you and your DM, but if you're a 5th level magic user, odds are you're a very high XP thief. So that's going to be 6. So 5-6 magic user thief. And you have 4 weapons proficiencies. You have your 1 magic user, and you have your or is it 2 magic user and 2 thief? Doesn't matter. So now we go into shopping. Now, there's 2 things you can do here. We can skip this for now and pick these later when we get to the worksheet, or we can do proficiencies now. What do you want to do?
Let's go for it now.
Right.
So I know that we can get. Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we got the thief gives us a lot of options for melee. Magic user less so. So we have melee, we have ranged, and sticks, which does not mean we're all going to sing Mr. Roboto.
Let's go melee.
All right, melee. And you'll notice pole arms is not listed because neither a thief nor a magic user can use any kind of pole arm.
Sure.
All right, so let's go with melee. And here's our options: two-handed, dagger, longsword, broadsword, bastard sword, club, or short sword.
Let's go with the short sword.
All right. A perfectly acceptable choice. So short sword. All right. It takes it off the list, so we don't actually pick it twice. And do you want another melee weapon?
I got dropped out there for a second.
Oh, okay. So it takes it off the choice list, and so we don't accidentally double proficiency in it. And do you want another melee weapon?
Yeah, let's go for a dagger also.
That's kind of the boilerplate for a magic user or a thief. So do we want to keep melee weapons, or do we want to hop out and do sticks or missile?
Yeah, let's see if we can get a missile weapon in there.
All right, so we'll go back to subcategories, and we'll go to ranged. And now you've got sling or dart.
Let's go with sling.
All right. And we have one more. We have one more weapon. Do you want to get dart, or do you want to get a stick or staff of some kind?
Let's get a stick just to round things up a little bit.
All right. So back to subcategories, into sticks. And staff come a quarter. That's pretty much what you can use.
That's good. That's good.
All right. All right. So there's all of our weapon proficiencies. You don't have these weapons yet. All we have is their proficiencies.
Mhm.
So now these are all the shopping categories. This is everything you'll find in the player's handbook, listed by price. For the longest time, I didn't have pouches. I didn't have large and small pouches. And I was so embarrassed when somebody emailed me, "You don't have pouches." And I was like, "What? You don't have pouches?" So, oh my God. So I actually had to issue a code revision for CROM that had pouches in the shop. So what do you want to do first? One thing I'm going to recommend is either armor or weapons first. I know it's tempting to jump in and buy all the adventuring gear, but as I found out pretty quickly, you do that. It's like, I want a horse. I want a backpack. I want 3 flasks of oil. I want this much food. I want a 10-foot pole. I want rope spikes, blah, 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 blah. My character now has enough money for sackcloth and a sharp stick.
Right. I think, well, we're kind of limited on armor if we want to be casting our spells. So let's do weapons.
All right. We can wear leather armor, though. Remember, we are a half elf.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
We can purchase here, and just like buying weapons proficiencies, if you don't do this here, you can do it from the worksheet view.
Okay.
So we'll go into melee, and we are proficient in dagger and short sword. Yes.
Yep.
All right. So now here, it doesn't take things off of the list. It leaves them. You can buy multiple daggers. If you're like, my character is going to throw daggers, well, you can buy 5 daggers. It's just kind of an expensive missile weapon. All right. So, and short sword. And you'll note our gold is going down. So we'll go back. And let's get some sticks here. Let's go. Now, no, it will let you buy weapons you are not and cannot be proficient in. I left that in on purpose, but because my thinking is, Phil the fighter doesn't, I'm making up my fighter class. I don't have or the guy who's playing the thief doesn't have the money to buy leather armor and the light crossbow and stuff like that. The fighter, after he's done with all of his stuff, does. So you can buy anything as long as you're not actually trying to use it. That was all right. So let's get that quarterstaff. Let's back out. And ranged, I think we bought a sling, did we not?
Yep.
All right, so we'll get a sling. And we'll sling bullets. And we'll back out again. And do you want to pick up that leather armor?
Yeah.
All right. Armor. Leather armor. Alrighty, and we're done in this category. You've got weapons, you've got armor. Do you want to do you want to purchase anything else now, or do all that from the worksheet view?
Let's do that from the worksheet view.
All right, so we'll be done shopping for now. Are you sure? Yes. That's what we've got. It's reminding us there.
Check for psionics. That's
Check
pretty
for
exciting.
psionics. He's a half elf, so that's not gonna.
that could be a.
All right. There's your magic user spells available. There's your characteristics and all of their stats. These are these will show up on the worksheet view as well. What do you call it for alignment?
Jeff, you could jump in here too. I'm monopolizing this.
No, I'm having a blast. I always do chaotic good.
Okay, I'm good with that.
But
unfortunately, that's not a permitted thief alignment.
Okay,
permitted
chaotic
thief.
Neutral, I guess.
Chaotic neutral. It's what my character would do. The alignment.
It's what my character would do. Yeah.
All right.
But my agency.
Enter a name for your character.
Ooh. Jeff, you pick the name. I can't.
What was that, Jeff? You pick the name. I can't. That's a little weird.
That's all kind of wordy, isn't it?
Gotta abbreviate that. Abbreviate with Jeff.
Oh, you're Tolkien over there. All right, Jeff.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, Jeff. Calculated XP for magic user, calculated XP for thief. Shows us the thief abilities. We press enter to continue. And now we can save in text or HTML. We're actually going to do both because I want people to see both. So let's do text first, because here, so we just default to Jeff. This is where you print from. This is the rawest. I am talking to your system's PCL driver. Please don't interrupt me. Printing system in the world. This launches Notepad, sticks this in it, and then prints it.
Does it formats it and all that?
Yes. Well, look, I'm not a design and layout guy. You get what you get. Okay. I built a great friggin' character generator. If you don't like how the character sheets look.
Hey, I was gonna ask you, when you're coming up with the follow-up for this for monster creation. But
we'll talk about that in a little bit, but
okay.
I don't have a local printer here, and I don't know what'll happen if I say yes. So let's say no, we're not going to print. Would you like to create another character? Now, if you say no here, the program ends, but how to get into worksheet view, say yes, we load the character. And you see, I've created some here in examples before. So we're going to say, Jeff.
You don't have Blackleaf in there.
Not yet. And here's Jeff, and here's all the things we can do from the worksheet view. We can level them up. As I said, level up, add XP, drain XP, change stats, change alignment, give money or take away money, add gems, purchase. Now, the equipment and purchase are different things, but you can view their equipment, their inventory right now. I didn't talk about this much. So, but if we go here, let's say you just built out your character, you sold under a lucky star, you have started off with maximum gold and you bought everything you wanted, and you get to that worksheet view and your base movement is 2 inches. Oh crap. I need to store some of this stuff. I don't think I'm going to need 400 iron spikes.
Connect wants it to print to PDF. She's asking for. I do know how to do some of that stuff, but
it does that as long as you set your Windows default printer to Microsoft Print to PDF. I'm not adding that as a function in the program. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if you go into your Windows preferences and set Microsoft Print to PDF, that's how you print this to PDF.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, you can come in here and use the store equipped and equipped stored, or forever drop an equipped item, or forever delete a stored item, or you can add an item. People ask me like, "Oh, Bill, what if I get a potion? What if I get a magic ring? What if I get a, what if I get a strange book?" Well, guess what?
So you're calculating encumbrance here within the
I was
program?
getting ready to ask, what about encumbrance?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
So strange book, weight in coins. Let's say it's £1, so that's 10 coins. Quantity 1. We press enter, and there we go. We have a strange book in our inventory that weighs 10 coins. So we exit out of this, and that takes us back to the worksheet view. Now, I bet you're curious about the spell book. Was that what you were?
Exactly what I was thinking.
So let's go to Tome of Spells. Now, 8 known first level spells, 2 known second level, 1 known third. To look at your spells, we click add a spell level, and you can add a spell. Like, let's say you get a scroll of wish and you want to put it in your spell book. You can come right in here and you can add the spell to your spell book. Now, the interplay between you and your DM of seeing whether or not you can successfully write a spell that your character may not be able to know, that's between you and your DM. This does not handle that mechanic. This is literally just editing text.
Okay.
But if we go to spell level and 1, and we know charm person, detect magic, find familiar, message, protection from evil, read magic, sleep, and write.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's choosing initially randomly determining those.
Exactly. Now, if you don't like this, like if you and your dungeon master say, well, we have a method for generating spellbooks, you can do this and come in here and remove as many spells as you want.
Okay. This is actually not that bad a selection here. This looks pretty good.
It's not bad. I'm keen to see what we got for our second level spell and our third level spell. And there's the remove spell tool there. So if we add, and we'll go into 2, we know ESP and Wizard Lock. I would more want, say, web and strength, but and now let's see what our third level spell is. It better be lightning bolt or fireball.
We are a little light on offense.
On offensive spells, yes, we are. All right, so it's 3. Leoman's tiny hut. Well, we're gonna have a fine day camping. So yeah, you'd want to come in here and maybe discuss with your DM about purchasing some scrolls. So that's the way it works. That's how spell management goes. I did mention you can age your character. This character is 32, which for a half elf is a young adult.
Yeah.
But we could add, say, let's do this. Let's do year. You're about to age your character. Yes. How many years pass? Let's do 100 and what is that? 160, 150. Now they are old. Note their strength went down.
Yes.
Their intelligence went up. Wisdom went up.
Wow.
Dexterity, constitution went down a little. It handles
movements
aging.
down too.
Well, that happened when we added the book.
Oh, okay. That's the
book
encumbrance.
just pushed us over to the next. But there you go. That is fast character generation. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to quit, and we're going to save. Oh no, damn it! I should have saved. Well, let's load Jeff again because I want to save as HTML. Jeff. Okay, now we'll quit. Now that was the let's sit down and talk about it and take 3 hours. No, take I think that was about 7 or 8 minutes to make a character.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Have you ever fully made, fleshed out, equipped, and gotten spells for an AD&D character in 7 minutes?
No.
But now, let's do one faster.
Lightning.
Guided auto create. Character name.
Jeff Jr.
You should call it Cam.
All right, Cam. No, I like Cam. All right, Cam. Male. Use psionics. No. Now, if I had said yes, that would have locked it down to just picking human. We're going to go half elf. Multi-class. What's our multi-class? Magic user thief. 7. Level 6. Save to text. Save now. Yes. File name. Jeff. Print. No. And we're done. We just
then you just load it up to see it?
exactly.
Load it,
You load it into the worksheet, and let's see.
Cam.
Oh, Cam, right. And there we go. There's Cam.
Oh, look at that sweet 17 dex.
Yes.
Look at that. Cam, you got a great character there.
He is good.
Too bad you got to go do Snob's show and talk about Dune.
Unfortunately, I do, because I'm loving this. This is fantastic.
If we go to equipment, look, it gave us a parcel of equipment. But I promise you this: you have time to see the even faster mode.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. Random auto create single class. Boom.
Oh, it's an 18 wisdom.
Yes, that was a chaotic evil half elf magic user level 4. I hit no instead of save because I thought it was print. But yeah, that's how fast you can auto create.
Look at that.
And so okay, cool. So it would have all their other stuff in there.
Yes. So I'll do it again. Gnome thief. What's her name? Cam 2. Save now. Yes. There. That fast. That's as fast as you can create a character. You want to do a random bard? Let's do a random bard. What's their name? Jimbo. Yes.
Okay, so it's automatically giving you stats that you would have to do, and for the ones,
Yes.
how does it handle that? Because does it just give you?
I programmed it so it would give you the minimum for a class. Like if you do guided auto create, and my favorite paladin name, male, use psionics, yes, single class paladin, level 5. We now have Kendrick the psionic paladin, and it gives the correct stats. Paladin level 5, so it will actually give the correct stats on the sheet. Don't sweat that not showing up there properly. So it gives the correct stats, and you're all done. You're all done. And here it is. By the way, you guys who are curious about seeing how the psionics, it tells you to pick your modes. We got to do psionic blast and psychic crush. And we get all 4. So G, H, I, and we're not going to bother saving. So, because psionic paladin is too dangerous. So, I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's $25. It is standalone. It runs on Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, 32 or 64-bit. It runs on Linux. And it runs on Mac OS if you configure it through Wine.
No. Let me ask you: Is this compiled?
Yes, this is compiled. The reason
I ask is because Python runs natively in Linux.
I know.
So, but that's also a security risk for you.
Yeah, people have asked me like, "Oh, hey, can I have the source code?" No. It's not an open source project. I'm not putting it on GitHub. I'm not.
I get you. No, I totally get it. Cam, have fun on talking about Dune.
Nice to meet you, Cam. that, as it were.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I really appreciate it. This has been a fun conversation. We go for 4 hours easy, I think.
yeah,
with
we
this,
could have.
but,
Yeah, we could have.
I'm sure you guys will go a little longer. I appreciate it, and talk to everyone later.
All right,
Peace.
see you in a bit, Cam.
Bye.
So if people want to order this, what's the best way for them to? You want them to
Just
get a hold
shoot
of
me
you?
an email, bsilvey@gmail.com. It's nothing mysterious or cryptic. I do need to do an e-commerce thing where people can just buy it, and because I know there's a lot of people who are like, I want to buy it now. Okay, PayPal me $25. That's not how I work.
Yeah.
Okay. But
It's bsilvey@gmail.com, right?
bsilvey@gmail.com, and I will shoot you the download link. I do ask, I beg of people, please don't pirate my software.
Right.
Please do not pirate my software. It is one purchase, one seat. And I get it. Like, if you get this at your table and you want to make characters for everybody at your game, I completely understand. But you don't just upload this somewhere,
Right,
and share this around. No, it doesn't have a software key. It doesn't. It's not always on. I mean, you install this on your laptop or PC, turn off your Wi-Fi or unplug your network cable, and it's not going to complain. It's a standalone.
what? A software that doesn't check
It
to
doesn't
see if you're
check.
online
Does not check to
and
see if
phone's
you're
home.
online. Yeah, it's literally just as it should be. People are like, well, Bill, it's Python. Just make it web facing and let everybody have access to it. No, I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this.
You have to pay for, well, like I pay for Restream. I don't know what you use, but
StreamYard,
same thing. Yeah. We put a lot of free sweat equity into stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be grabby. I could have charged. If I charged by the hour, this would be a $7,000 program.
Well, year and a half, yeah.
But now Cam had asked, well, what about the monster creation tool?
I asked actually.
You asked that.
Yeah.
There is another program coming. I was trying to be cutesy and call it Aragorn, and then that's an acronym and every letter means something, but that's bonkers. It's just called Dungeon Masters Familiar, and DM's Familiar. It will automate the Dungeon Master's Guide and Monster Manual. That is the stated goal. It is. If I had to pick a number, I would say it's about 8% done.
Will it? Are you intending on allowing it to create a new character or a new monster?
So
based on another one, reskinning it or altering it. I mean, I don't know where you're going, but it's not. I mean, I'm all for it, man.
the file ingestion, the simplest thing I can think to do, because if you look at the remuneration of monsters or relisting of monsters, whatever that word is, you can see everything's in a grid array, right? All the important stats are in the grid array in the Dungeon Master Guide. I said, just make that into a CSV file. That is just literally make it into a CSV file. So once I have finalized Familiar, yes, you will be able to go in and just add to the CSV file. And when you load a monster, you'll say, let's say you want the Green Man, the old Celtic male forest sex deity guy. You'll type in, monster specific encounter. Yes. Monster name, the Green Man. Or I may do it where, did I call it a Geoladacker or a Geolajacker? I don't remember. You can come in and look at the catalog, look, open the catalog and be, it was a geoladacker. Okay. And then, you can type it in. But it's the treasure tables, the magic item tables, and that's all of the magic items. I want to have as injectable stuff, injectable CSVs. So that is
Not
that is
messing
my
with XML, huh?
No, I'm not messing with XML. I'm not.
I saw you had JSON on there.
The JSON horror that I went through with this thing was so. I blame listening to Stack Exchange and Chat GPT. Okay, I want to have kind of a containerized way of saving characters. JSON is your friend. Cool, Jason. This makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Bro.
Your eyes kind of go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say, by force of need, I've gotten pretty good at screwing around in the JSON files that CROM creates. It doesn't rely on JSON files except to save character. That's one thing. That's one caveat, one caution I got to get. We can get this out of here if you want, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can. I think you can dismiss it, can't you?
Let's see. Stop sharing. There we go.
Okay.
I tell people, look, if you make a wonderful character that's awesome and you love them to pieces and you go and you add stuff to their inventory and they're your favorite character going through, back up the JSON period. Just whatever folder you have CROM in, just back that folder up periodically. It doesn't do an auto save. It doesn't do anything like that. Because when you come back and your character's stats are all 3s and your inventory is just like 500 entries that says mule. Yeah. Because you came home after a bottle of tequila and you're like, how do I fix this?
Yeah.
Restore from backup.
Save early, save often, right?
Save early, save often.
You remember those.
And CROM, ladies and gentlemen, CROM does not care about your previous characters. CROM laughs at the 4 wins. If I went in and I made another character named Cam, or if I made another character named whatever, it won't even like hesitate.
Blow it right away, huh?
Just
yep, I'm gonna overwrite it. I don't care. Yeah.
CROM does not care. It is not friendly in that respect. I may have to adjust that someday. That's kind of not great, but
yeah.
But that's it. That's CROM. And the new one, like I said, the new one's going to automate the Dungeon Master's Guide. All of that crap. Okay, they're traveling over land and they just had an encounter with this. I really don't want to stop the game's momentum to roll up this. You don't encounter anything in your whole journey from Greyhawk to Divers, and you had to skip like 5 things because you didn't want to pump the brakes on your game, right?
Yeah. This speeds it up so you're not
familiar. Push a button for every encounter.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're gonna do it by terrain type and stuff like that.
Yeah. My hope in the familiar mapper is that you will say, I don't like days of journey or number of hexes in journey, and you'll say like 10. Terrain type for hex 1, mountains. Terrain type for hex 2, hills. Terrain type for hex 3, plains. Terrain type for hex 4, and just on down the list. I'll probably have it so like if you enter like mountains for 1, you can just hit enter until.
Sounds like this could evolve into an encounter management and.
It's going to be.
Yeah,
it's going to be. You'll go through. You'll populate your journey, and you'll then if it's mountainous terrain, your movement speed, it'll say by foot or by horse. You'll input that. It'll calculate that. And then it will say the journey will take this many days. Calculate encounters. Yes, no. If you say yes, it'll check every encounter day, every slot it's supposed to, per the Dungeon Master's Guide, every time frame. It'll say noon, day 3, large spiders in lair, number 3, hit points, this, treasure, that, XP total, the other. And it'll generate all of that, and then you can save that to a simple text file and have it ready to go for your next game.
I mean, you've done, I got to, I graduated from Val State, man. you know that term.
Yeah.
The irony is when I started school, it was Valencia Community College.
Yes.
And
same.
when I finally graduated, 24 years later, I tell people I had 25 years and got off a year early with good behavior.
Right.
And UCF lived up to its name. I didn't finish that either, but I do have some credits from it. At any rate, but I finally got my degree in computer programming analysis, and you know how much I get to actually use it? Very little. Because I play with Oracle mostly at work and support a particular product, and I actually have a Python program that I'm ready to get to an SSL error on. So, without getting too IT nerdy, that's I think it's because it's Python 2, and it needs to be Python 3.
Well, one thing I do want to mention is a lot of people have said to me, well, not a lot, not like double digits, but a few, a couple, a few people have said to me, well, hey man, I can just do that in Google Docs, or I can ask Grok to make me a first edition AD&D character. You can't. I challenge anyone out there to go into Grok cold and ask it to make you a first edition AD&D character to the depths that this is.
Yeah.
If you can, and it does, I'll eat my words gladly, happily. But if you've got the moxie to make something like this and make a spreadsheet that does everything this is, please do so. Please, the more stuff like this is out there,
encourage people. Yeah, you're like, it's better for first edition, right? You can get more people out there doing ADD and wean them off of 5th edition.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not a guy who's like out there busting chop. The only thing, again, I'm not going to open source this, and I'm not going to just let folks tinker with it. I'm not going to put it on GitHub or anything like that. But my goodness, and if you have any, if you're like, oh my God, Bill, how did you crack the percentage strength? Of course, I'm going to tell you. Get bent. I'm not going to tell you.
I would too.
No. That's a joke. Because, dude, you know how I said I got 90% of it done in a very short amount of time, and it took me a year and a half for the last
polish
for the last of it. Part of that last 10% was percentile strength. It would not clamp. It would generate percentile strength, and then it would go into the worksheet view, and it would be a completely different one. And if you bought stuff, if you leveled up, it would just change it to where it would just keep, it would not clamp. It would, and I went bonkers until I finally fell back on what I learned about basic programming. I said, look, roll the percentile dice over here, take them completely out of the character creation loop, call this function once, and then never touch that number again. Store that value until the programs run again. Store that value, never touch it again. Because I wanted everything compact. I had tucked the routine and I didn't even realize it, because if you printed it out, like the main character routine's like this tall, I had that stupid percentile strength routine in the main loop. So every time it asked, it would every time
Functions
you
are your
said,
friends. Functions are your friend.
yeah. I mean, there's something to be said for having everything in one just blob, one just chunk of code where you're like, I know exactly where that is, but it will absolutely run it every time you touch that code. It's like, okay, boss, I got it. Percentile strength. No. God.
Did you ever take Pascal
In high school?
Yeah.
In high school.
Yeah. I loved Pascal. It was very elegant because they split apart functions and procedures. And a function is you give it input and it gives you output, whereas a procedure is go do something.
Let me tell you something. At that point in my life, and this is going to sound cliche, it's going to sound trite, I promise you it's the truth, I used to dream in BASIC.
Did you really?
I would literally have dreams where I was writing code on my Commodore 64 and wake up and do those things to solve problems in programs that I was trying to write on my C64. I understand BASIC. BASIC is procedural. 10 print hello world, 20 go to 10. Not, open curly bracket.
Begin.
Right,
Lynn.
STDIO. Yeah. And then if your other curly brackets,
hello
one
world.
over this way, your program will take down your kernel when you try to compile it and run it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just for a simple hello world program. So when I got into Pascal in high school, because it was the back half of the computer science class.
Sure. Yeah.
I was like, I don't understand this. And I tried so hard. It was Apple Pascal.
Really?
I tried so hard.
Oh, that's probably your problem. See, I was a Borland baby. Once of course, I was a PC guy, right? So yeah,
right.
I mean, I wanted Amiga. I wanted an Amiga because that's what all the cool kids had, or an Atari ST. I would have been happy with either one of those. That's what all my friends had, right?
The Amiga killed my programming.
Yeah.
The A-Basic or Microsoft Basic for Amiga, whichever you used with the Amiga, I didn't understand how you could program without line numbers.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't get my head around it. It went back to functions in Pascal. I couldn't understand it. And I had all of these incredible silky smooth games like Falcon and F-18 Interceptor and
distraction. Yeah.
And Bard's Tale that ran in 64 colors and
Bard's Tale.
All of that gorgeous stuff. And I went from being a computer programmer to a computer user.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I never gave up on the coding side of things until I got older. I decided this is Jeff, right? In 1988, I said, I know what I want to do. I'm bored with high school. I was a junior, right? My GPA was horrendous. I said, I've already passed my entrance exam to college. All I got to do is I went to DeVry, right? First semester, went to DeVry in Atlanta, and I said I had to petition the school board to let me out. And they're like, oh, well, you have to take this test, right? I'm like, okay. Then I go to take the test, and they're like, oh, did you take the class? And I'm like, what class? Oh, well, you're supposed to take this class for the the GED class, right?
Yeah.
I said, well, I got school starting in March. My first day of classes was my 17th birthday. I said, I don't have time to take your class. Okay, well, we'll let you take it, but if you don't pass it, they called me during my midterms wanting me to be valedictorian.
Nice.
I scored the highest score on the county in the county record, you know, and it was like, I'm busy taking midterms, you know, but it was just, you know, but I did have a couple of really, really great teachers, um, and throughout the years, I had my seventh grade in my middle school. I went to Denjon Middle School. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not.
No,
It's in
I went to Meadowbrook.
okay. Well, Denjon Middle is in Kissimmee, um, over you know, and I know you didn't live on that side of town,
No.
but we were the home of the dragons. The dragons, a red dragon was actually our school mascot.
So Denjons and Dragons.
Yes, Denjon Dragons. Yes, and my history teacher, Mr. Holmes, was a Civil War reenactor,
Nice.
which of course you know what a lot of Civil War reenactors are also involved in, wargaming.
Absolutely.
And then if you're into wargaming, you might also be into.
Dungeons and Dragons.
And he worked as he was a teacher, but you know they have 3 months of the year off. He worked for Coliseum of Comics in Kissimmee.
Oh, nice.
And I was so surprised the first time I ran into them. I'm like, weren't you my history teacher back in 7th grade? You know, it's just kind of a small world thing, you know. And it's a miracle, like I said, that you and I never crossed paths back there, because I've been to Gods and Monsters when they were at the, what was the name of the mall? The one that where the Bass Pro Shops was built.
Yeah.
Festival Bay. Festival Bay.
It was Artagon at the time.
It was Artagon, and then, but before that, it was Festival Bay, right?
That is such an ugly story, and it makes me so freaking angry about how they. So Gods and Monsters still exist. You know that, right?
Yeah, I went to when they moved down the street to the little strip mall that's there near closer to iDrive. Well, closer to Kirkman.
Well, yeah, closer to Kirkman.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that fucking getting run. And what is so hilarious about that? The guy was like, "Well, we're turning this back into retail space." My brother in Christ, I have been by that place. It's a dead mall.
Yeah.
It Ron John left, Fuddruckers left.
Yeah.
They have a movie theater and a bunch of stores that are probably trapped in leases.
That movie theater is where I saw Star Wars episode 7.
It's okay, man. Let it out. Let it out, brother. I'm here for you.
In fact, that was the same theater that I literally walked out of after watching 8 and going, huh. That was the first words out of my mouth after that. Huh. I was in shock.
Yeah.
They had just destroyed my childhood.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yep. Yeah. So you know, that's why I have, going back to where we began with you know, with WotC. Yeah, we were directly affronted, man, and it wasn't just them, but it was all of them. You know, it was what Disney did to Star Wars and Indiana Jones. What they did, you know, what was done to Star Trek by Kurtzman. You know, it's just,
it's all so bad.
Doctor Who, you know, everything we loved. I mean, I loved going to Enterprise 1701, and they had all the classic Doctor Who stuff.
Yep.
You know, it was so awesome, and
it's
so yeah, I want an apology.
I want an apology too. It's about demoralization, dude. Yeah. It's about deliberately demoralizing and taking away a thing that you want. You know, you're not dude, there's a rabbit hole I could go down that, like, if people like rooted this out and found it, they'd be like, oh crap, he's crazy, I'm not going on his show again. But no, seriously, there's I honestly feel like there there are folks who just want people to be miserable.
Yeah.
And you know, what was it? When Kathleen Kennedy came out and did the Force is Female thing, where her and all those women, like, I flipped the script, dude. Flip the script. Imagine Lucas and Ford and Hamill and Gary Kurtz and you know, Ben Burt all coming out at the premiere of The Empire Strikes Back wearing t-shirts that said the Force is male.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I'm glad she's gone. I'm glad Iger is gone. I mean, you know,
I don't know. It's not fixable. It's not fixable.
We both grew up. Yeah, you moved there in 81, I think you said. I moved there like in 82.
Yeah.
So we're about the same time. And I used to think Eisner was the worst CEO that Disney had ever had. Bob Iger blew him away.
Bob Eisner Eisner was fantastic. I look on. Let me tell you something. When I was in college, starting in the mid 1990s, I had friends that worked at Disney. And so basically at that time, like everybody that lived in Central Florida, and I'm sure this is true for you too, knew someone that worked at Disney. You did not pay to go to Disney.
My brother retired from Disney.
You never paid to go to Disney.
Never paid, not once.
Never paid a full price to get a hot dog.
Never paid even for parking.
Never paid for parking.
Nope.
But
now they want $50 for parking.
I used to go pretty frequently. Mm-hmm. And even when the kids were little, up until the kids were about, well, no, really, I would say until 2020, when my oldest was 18 and my youngest was, I'm not going to dox them. They were younger than they were 6 years younger than they are now.
Yeah.
Up to that point, we got year-round passes. We you know, oh, what do you want to do today? It's early. It's not hot. You want to go to Disney? Yeah, let's go to Disney. You know, hey kids, we're going to go to Disney. Go to the parks till sundown.
Yep.
You know, yeah, okay, we're going to spend $8 on a bottle of Zephyr Hills and $2 on an apple. You kids are going to get a, you know, $12 stuffy fluff that's like this big, but it'll be another day at Disney. It's fun.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a Disney adult. I was like, squee, you know, got to get the custom this or this limited that.
Right.
I didn't mind going. Right. It was nice to see the kids have fun. The food was generally pretty good. I didn't mind going. And the cartoons, oh my God, they're starting with and I know this because I'm a dad and I had kids, you know, kids. So, but you know, Little Mermaid and I mean, and tacking on the classic ones, but you start with that Iger run when dude, you got to understand, people don't believe this. We came to Florida on vacation in 76 or 77.
I saw the Black Hole in Florida at a theater on Kirkman Drive before I moved to Florida. My grandparents had a little cottage in this podunk town called Windermere.
Yeah.
They sold the house to the cleaning lady for like $56,000 and bought a place in St. Cloud because the square dancing was better.
Nice.
Do you know how much that property would have been worth now?
I can imagine.
Oh my God! Because people that don't know, Windermere is where people like Tiger Woods and, you know, Shaquille O'Neal.
Tiger Woods going to be living in a place that's a little bit north and east of that. It's a high-rise condo. You can just see it from I-4.
I saw that.
Like,
oh man,
he's got some new digs coming up. But
It's a new clothes. Orange is the new orange is the new tiger.
Yeah, orange is the new green, because he had that master's jacket. But
oh yeah,
no, it was a different scene back then, and going to
the game room at the Contemporary.
The game room at the Contemporary, the game room.
Did you ever find the 13th floor?
No,
we did. We were there going hanging out in the game room, and the only way to get to the 13th floor is either through the stairwell or a service elevator.
That's cool.
It's a service floor because Disney follows that.
Right, no 13th floor.
No 13th floor, but there really is a 13th floor. It's just the service. It's the service level. Yeah, we got chased by security and whatever.
It was a completely different. It was fun to go to. It was.
I had an annual pass for Pleasure Island. I went out every night of the week to Pleasure Island from the time I was 18 until I was 21.
It was an enjoyable time, and it is so enshittified.
Yeah.
And the last time we went to the parks proper was 2020. Or no, it was 2021, November of 2021. And it was, I could tell there was something definitely wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and it's just, and the thing is, and I worked I did multiple contracts out at Disney. I've driven an 18-foot box truck down Main Street at 3 a.m. carrying a bunch of point of sale terminals. I deployed 1,500 registers at Disney.
Yeah.
It was a 9-month contract that got extended twice it wound up working 15 months. I had to train my replacement because you know how Disney was with contract work.
Yeah. No, I know. My old man would do construction work out there. He hated Disney as a corporation. Despised them.
But if you got a job for them, I mean, if you got a contract gig, I was working in Celebration when 9/11 happened. I was in their help desk. Now, later on, I was actually a team member for Universal later on. I was in IT field services. So I opened Harry Potter, the first one.
The people I knew who went, who worked at, I knew Universal was a different vibe when there was a disabled cat that I went to high school with, and he was a senior when I was a junior, always just super nice to me. And he graduated, he went on, and fast forward a couple of years later, I'm up at 7-Eleven there on Kirkman. And we used to, when Universal first opened, we used to go to Universal like between classes. My girlfriend, who's now my wife at the time, we used to go to Universal between classes. And if Confrontation was working, we would ride it. If it wasn't, we would ride Back to the Future twice and then go back to class.
Which of course is The Mummy now, right?
Yeah, I don't even want to hear that. Yeah. But anyway, so
and Back to the Future is now The Simpsons.
Yeah, but we went we went to Universal one day, and lo and behold, who's working at the ticket intake but this guy that I knew from high school, and we recognized each other and so on. Here's a wheelchair bound dude in the early 1990s working at Universal out front where customers can see him. That was not a Disney thing.
That was not a big deal then for Universal. They were very open about that.
They were, jewelry, pierced ears, lipstick, necklaces, rings. They didn't. They didn't.
I mean, this wasn't allowed at Disney.
No, it was absolutely not. But I was going to mention this when we came down to vacation at Disney in 77 or so. Mm-hmm. I mean, understand it was Disney World, and it was Disney Village.
Disney Village, yeah. It wasn't even downtown Disney at that time.
And Disney was not a clean part. Like there was graffiti scrawled in the bathrooms and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was early enough in Disney's history that you still had to go to a kiosk and buy tickets.
The e-tickets and all
Yeah,
that.
you had to get the booklet of Disney tickets. But
I don't
yeah.
remember because I never bought those. I think my dad, I'm sure paid for them, or we went with. No, we got taken in because my grandparents lived in Windermere. The neighbor across the street was a VP.
Nice.
So so we got and we got to go see you know where the little hidden theater is there
Yeah.
that you can go to from backstage. You can
Mhm.
get to. We got to see a couple of movies there with
Yeah.
them and stuff like that. I mean, but Disney used to really, really do things up. My brother, like I said, my brother worked there.
Mhm.
He worked at the Land. He worked at Energy and Epcot. He worked at um, the TTC, the Transportation and Ticket Center, because I always get
Yes.
that backwards. I always want to say Ticket and Transportation, but it's Transportation and Ticket Center. Um,
Well, dude, I mean, even now, by all accounts, even like Club 33 has gotten in shitified.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but my point was, it wasn't just WotC. It was Disney did it, and they did it with Star Trek. They did it with Doctor Who, and if you didn't like it, it was your fault that you didn't like it. And it's like, you
Yeah.
know, and
And
I
and if it got canceled, it was your fault because you're a chud.
because you didn't, yeah, but yeah, right.
You're a chud. You got this canceled. We were told and this like just happened just now with the latest Star Trek cancellation. You're powerless. You have no power. We do what we want and we make Star Trek the way we want.
Oh yeah,
Star Trek
yeah. They're
has-
they're trying. There's a petition. They're trying to get it uncanceled. It's not going to happen because
no.
Paramount Skydance is taking over the reins, and they're not going to.
And
Ellison's not going to allow that.
well, and the thing that they do with these frankly awful shows now is they go through and they split the seasons.
Oh,
They
and
they
when
they,
did
they
we do 8 to 10 shows for a season?
when they knew that they were producing absolute garbage, and they split the seasons, so these people pushing this can go, well, we got 2 seasons, and try and make their money back. See, now that
You got
streaming is
maybe
now,
a one season if you really add it up, not even a full season,
but
right?
here's the thing, dude. Now that streaming is in shitified,
Yeah.
you have to you do make advertising money on even streaming. So you split it into 2 seasons, you can basically double up on ad money. So the but yeah, I mean, we are at once told that we're powerless, that we're crybaby chud Yahtzees who are going to get pushed into a locker, and that Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, D&D, DC, fantasy lit was always
Vulcan.
always woke, and we're just too stupid to see it, but it's not for us now. And then when they get their toys taken away, they freak out and say, oh, the chud's got this. Well, I thought you said I had no power. I thought you said that I had no, that this wasn't for me, and now I was on the outside.
Yeah. I mean,
So which is it? Are we people who just want our fun back and not get scolded for it? Are we the most dangerous people in entertainment, and we can steer the ship of pop culture with our rude thoughts and our nasty tweets? Or are we powerless nothings who will get crushed by the wheels of progress? Which is it?
yeah.
Which is it?
And now that everything has gone to streaming, right? Now that streaming is the big thing, what's happening? All of them are raising their prices. Did you hear Netflix is raising their prices now another $2? They're basically trying to raise it so because they make more money off of the ad supported tier because of ad revenue.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's part of the enshittification. Streaming was our escape from cable. Streaming was our escape from
Cutting the cord.
having to watch commercials. I'm gonna eat all the fruit and throw away the rind. Yay, brother. Oh, look, Magnum PI. I love that series. Ma, that was delicious. Oh, there's a new science fiction show. What's this called? The Expanse. Delicious. I'll have some of that. Oh, that's wonderful. Bring me some of that fresh Stranger Things. I wish to savor that. And now it's as bad as network TV was.
Yeah.
Now it's as bad as cable was.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I loved Eddie Munson, but I watched the first half of the newest season, and I'm like, I'm done.
I have yet to watch it. It's all out now, and I intend to binge it when I'm on vacation this back half of this April.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to spoil it for you at all.
Thank you.
I have not seen the second half of the season because it hadn't come out yet, but I'm just like, I put my Netflix on suspend, and then it comes out just a couple of days ago that now, Netflix is raising the price on the commercial free tier. They're probably raising it on the ad supported tier too, but only by a minimal amount, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had YouTube TV. And YouTube TV was costing me what cable used to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, plus I had Netflix, plus I had Disney Plus with ESPN because that's the only way I can watch all the baseball games, because they diverse, except for Apple TV, and I'm not going to get an Apple TV because I'm not an Apple guy.
Yeah, I'm not putting an Apple product in my house.
That's what I said. I'm not allowing Apple product on my network.
Did you see this great World War II movie with Tom Hanks? Oh no, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's on Apple TV. Hello.
Yeah, they're. I think they're. What are they doing? An actual Neuromancer or something like that is actually coming to Apple TV, and it's like, really.
It was okay. So here's the thing. That Neuromancer has been in the work for 4 years. I'm just going to let you figure out what that means. And
they're having issues.
No. It's not that they're having issues. Again, listen to what I'm saying. It has been in production since 2022. The issue that they're having is not a production issue. The issue that they're having is it was written in 2022.
Oh.
If they just started doing it now, said, okay, we're going to start work on a new Neuromancer series, I'd be like, okay, cool. That could be pretty good. If somebody put fingers to MacBook in 2022 with an eye towards getting that done, then I will stick with a book.
Did you ever play the Neuromancer video game on the Commodore 64?
No, I played it on the Amiga.
Okay. But you did play it.
I did. I did play it.
Do you reckon
it's been nearly 40 years? I don't remember much about it.
Okay. Well, if you recognize my nick, Death Angel Shadow, comes from the video game.
That has been eating at me. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay.
Yes. And I think it was a Gibson nod to, or the guys that created it, one or the other. This is just a theory of mine, to the Kane series that I learned about 2 years ago when people kept on saying, "Oh, did you get your name from, and I'm like, no, but that's interesting. And I actually have somebody is sending me the book that's called Death Angel Shadow. by, but it has nothing to do. It's actually fantasy. It's like somewhere between Conan and that type of thing. It's that era of type of fantasy novel.
Oh, that's
But
cool, man.
but I've had this. This was my BBS sysop, Nick.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I mean, I ran a bulletin board back in and we had my dad had when my dad left the company I took over his business line and used that for my BBS, and then I decided I got a second modem, and after that, after certain time period at night, my second modem would be used, so people could use that as a dial-up number.
I have the Dungeon Delver because in 2000, when I wanted a website, I wanted a unique email associated with it, which is kind of funny because now I'm just bsilvey@gmail. But I wanted a unique email, and so I went to hotmail.com and I said, the Dungeon Master. Sorry, the Dungeon Master's been taken.
Yeah.
Dungeon Master. Sorry, Dungeon Master's been taken. A Dungeon Master. Sorry, a Dungeon. What was that? I tried, Greyhawk DM. Sorry, Greyhawk DMs. Fine. As the Delver. Sorry, the Delver's been the Dungeon Delver. The Dungeon Delver's available. Gah!
And you snagged it. Yeah.
I snagged it right then, and so I was stuck with it. So I became the Dungeon Delver because I wanted to. If people wanted my email address, it just saying the Dungeon Delver.
Because your show says the Delver's Dungeon.
Yes.
So.
But I like the Delver's Dungeon. It rolls off the tongue a little.
No, it does. And I'm playing around. I just added Nightbot the other day, to see how that works, and it's been dropping links to your channel, and then yeah, it seems to be working pretty good, and it talks directly to YouTube, so might be a interesting way. It actually put somebody in a timeout because they used caps because I hadn't configured that. I'm like, yeah, nobody's gonna do all caps. Guess what? and it's somebody that's playing in my game on Mondays. So I know him. But yeah, it's just kind of like, well, it's kind of cool. All right. Plus, it's got like for the giveaways, it's got a giveaway thing and stuff like that. So
very cool.
That's something you might look at if you want to.
I will have to give that a look.
Yeah. I know some other guys. 'Cause I'm a ham radio operator too. That's my other expensive
ham. Oh, sorry.
No, not that. Funny story about that though. So in Orlando has the second largest ham fest in the country. Hamfest is basically a convention, a con. It's a con for ham radio operators, right? All the big manufacturers show up there and stuff like that. And it's at the Central Florida Fairgrounds, not too far from where you lived as a kid, right?
Yes.
So,
I went to many events at the Central Florida Fairgrounds.
Sure. They actually had people. They had a family that come in and bought tickets one time, and they were really confused when they walked in, and all they saw was people with old radio equipment and towers and electronics gear and stuff like that, and computers. A lot of the recycled. If you want to buy some rack mount servers, some old rack mount decommissioned rack mount servers, go to the Hamfest in February.
Yes.
They'll always have stuff like that, and old military gear and whatnot. At any rate, they come back to the booth and they're like, "Where's all the livestock at?" And that was the one and only time they've ever given a refund to somebody because they literally were confused. They thought Hamfest, it must be, something to do with, with pigs. It was not.
I always get some smarmy person who, like, whenever I see AD&D trending on X,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll like cut and paste it. I'm like, we are bending Twitter to our will. Somebody's like, yeah. Well, you realize it's just picking up on the letters ADD. you could do the
I
same
have
thing with
ADD.
you could do the same thing with accidental death and dismemberment. And I'm like, oh, shut up.
Yeah. Hey, so you do have one other thing. I know we're approaching the witching hour for you, I'm
Yes,
sure.
I got a black Labrador who needs his daddy's attention right now.
Yeah. Really quick, tell us about Guac. Give us
GUOGC, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, is a free to play, free to enter online convention that is held on Discord every spring. It's going to be every spring. It was kind of starting to ooze into summer before I was like, no, let's get it back to spring. So it's going to be every spring in April. And this year it is April 9th through April 12th. It's over on a Discord server. It's easy to find. It's free. I'm going to talk about it a lot for a few different reasons tomorrow night on my live stream. But we have we're doing an auction. We are doing a many panels. We've got author Alyssa Hazel, artist Richard Witters, artist and author Sky Hernstrom, artist Tracy Lesh. I believe I do not have it confirmed yet if Heidi or if Eric Garland and Heidi Gygax Garland are going to come in panel or if they're going to come and run games. They need to tell me soon. With Stephen Radney McFarland doing dumb shit Steven says, which is what he calls his panels. So that's what
hey, that works.
that's what we're gonna have there. So and yes, we have merch. You have the logo up right there. I did a little once I figured out how to do the warp and distort tool and the little paint program I use. I was able to mock up something there. So that's this year's logo, a little tribute to Black Sabbath.
That's pretty awesome. I thought that's where you got that from.
Yes, that is a little nod to the Black Sabbath Masters of Reality look. So you Dungeon Minister, I will have the link up tomorrow on Dungeon Minister's spring store. You can get this on t-shirts, mugs, glass, whatever.
Yeah.
But and there's gaming. There's all kinds of role-playing games are happening. We've got so many game masters over there. I'm going to be running stuff, but of course I've got to take care of the con. So right now I'm doing Tomb of Horrors on Sunday, Space Hulk on Thursday, and Dungeon later Thursday. I think I'll have to go back and check. Yeah. But I'm going to be.
Does it run a whole week? Is that?
It is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I started it Wednesday of last year, but I was just so clapped by the end of it. Yeah. I couldn't even. It just got spread out. So I'm doing the traditional convention. You start on Thursday midday and just go to night on Sunday.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about it is, if you're in a foreign country and you want to play a game with people who are in your time zone, this is not like a facility that I have to lock down at 11 p.m. every night and doesn't get open until 10 in the morning. If it's noon for you and your gamers where you are, then please, by all means, schedule your game for when you want. You might even pick up some Americans in it. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. People like me that like to stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning. Yeah.
Yes.
You never know.
So it is painfully simple to go. All you have to do is go to the Discord, and that you're in because it's free and there's no charge for anything. And then you, if you want to be a game master, let me know. I will activate you as a game master, and I will show you how to set up your game, which is also very simple.
And they're all going to be done in Discord.
They're all going to be done in Discord. You're at the appropriate time. You're going to see your game in a voice channel. You'll click there, and you'll be in the channel. It's that simple. It's that easy to join. So
that's awesome.
Show up, play, game. We're doing lots of games. It's going to be lots of fun.
I want to see all the artists.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. I have created a temporary QR code. It's only good for 7 days. So if you're watching this after whatever,
yes,
it'll go away on April whatever. but if you can get me a permanent link, I created one,
I
but I can't go back and find
I've
it.
tried. I have said this is the permanent link to my channel's Discord, or this is the permanent link to the GUOGC, and people are like, that doesn't work anymore. And then I click it.
I think I was one of them that said that one time to you.
So no, there is no permanent link in Discord ever. So if you're watching this 4 days from now and that doesn't work, hit Death Angel's up and he'll hit me up and I'll make sure you get the thing. That is one of the big disadvantages to Discord. Their servers move, and I don't let me have a server like you have a freaking domain.
Yeah, the funny thing is I have a permanent link for my Discord that's been up for like 3 or 4 years.
They just hate me, I guess.
I think they don't like you.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But everybody definitely go check out the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, and you're real close to 10K, right?
Yeah, I've been having like a nervous breakdown episode every time I look and my subs are dragging or something like that. But no, we are currently sitting at 9,735. So that's 265 subs out from the big 10K. I'm excited about it.
Didn't you make a promise if you hit 10K?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
some lies. That's fake news.
Oh, it's fake.
That's a deep fake. That's a deep fake, is what that is. That is a
Well,
deep
I
fake
won't mention
porn,
it then.
and I won't tolerate it. No, at 10,000, the channel we're gonna do an in real life convention. Now, I'll tell you, like I tell everyone else, that like the day it rolls over to 10,000, it does not like
it doesn't start that day.
That day, be here in Florida. It's like we're watching words. Go, get to the plane. Go. No, to celebrate hitting 10,000, we're gonna have an in real life convention when I get everything logistically together for the con. But 10,000 is the celebration point, and that's when I'll kick it into high gear. You might ask, Bill, it's 265 away at the rate you're going. That's going to be like May, at the latest that you're going to hit the.
But YouTube is a fickle.
It is. I could stall out at 9807 for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
With no explanation. I have shed tears, actual tears, over YouTube just picking a week and saying, nope.
Yeah.
No more output for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Bill, I appreciate it. I don't know how many folks are still stuck around, but
4 or 5 got the diehards in on a Sunday night.
Yeah. Tomorrow I have to work, but I don't come in. I don't start till 11, so I still got a couple more hours. I do have a surprise midweek stream coming.
Woohoo! Surprises are awesome.
Yeah. And then next Sunday, I have somebody special coming on. Chris Miller, Matt Scribe Games is coming on.
Wow, that's cool.
He's pretty awesome. He just released issue 14. So of the Mad Scribe magazine. I don't know if you've checked that out or not yet.
I haven't checked it out, but I've heard such good things about it, and I've heard Chris is a righteous dude, so that's great.
Yeah. Well, he lives between you and me, so because I'm up in Tennessee, you're in Florida, and I think he's somewhere in between. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at possibly putting on a con here in East Tennessee because there are no good ones. And you certainly would be invited. I'd love to have you come up here. It's not too far. Not that far.
All I can say is I would love to, and I'll try. But
yeah, I know. At least we're not. You've been up to. I want to go to EggCon so bad. I wanted to go to North Texas. The guys out in North Texas are pretty awesome. But CNY, Roger was one of the guys that had on where he was giving me some advice, and I he strong armed me into it, so I'm going to CNYCon in June. So
Excellent.
that's a 13-hour drive for me. So
Yeah.
you can only imagine what it would be for you.
Yeah.
It would be a
Well-
flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you consider it drive distance, but dude, I can testify AgCon is just stupid fun. Go to
Yeah.
AgCon if you get a chance.
Yeah, and that's in July, right?
That
You're
is in
gonna-
July. Yes.
You're gonna be a VIP.
I am going to be
or
there.
guest-
I'm a
guest,
VIP there. I'm
yeah.
a VIP.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. And I do plan on going. I think it's going to probably be next year before I get to go to that one. I can't take like weeks in a row off. They'd freak out. They'd have a panic attack at work. Because I'm the one who gets all the hard crap. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the credits, and we're gonna let you go take care of the puppies. If you wanna stay connected and chat for a minute or two after that.
I'm getting the glare from
Yeah.
Zeus, so I better.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and roll those beautiful credits if I can find it here.
Namaste. Thank you, my friends.
All right, man. Thanks, Bill. Have a great one. Thanks everybody for showing up.